know. But you have to kind of figure out a way to get those kind of people. Some of you are there because they're not going to listen. Okay. So it's really
part of the reason that I think Boyles has a longer TSL is that his audience is very old.
I know it is.
And so a lot of them are, you know, people
Although
that
that's
at home with
35
radio
plus,
on.
yeah. But we don't really, this station, which is good, doesn't have a big emphasis on numbers. They want us.
Yeah,
they
it's all
want
revenue.
results. I understand, and they want results. But at the same time, you can't ignore it because agencies look at it. No matter who you are, they look at it.
Yeah.
So play that game.
Right. You know, it's good. So a lot of the agencies, a lot of them are really the national buyers more than the local buyers. And Blue Apron is actually coming back to me. They were on for a couple months, then they went away, and they're starting again.
That's really good.
And they go through one of the ad results is their agency.
Oh, yeah.
And I think for a group like that to come back to me, I'm sure they've got numbers that they've determined that it's worth it, or they wouldn't be coming back to me, right? So, one step at a time. I'm feeling pretty good.
Also, try to create sense of
Radio talk, huh?
That's Ross Kaminsky, right?
What?
Is that Kaminsky?
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
For most with knee arthritis, finding the correct treatment with an acceptable outcome is a major issue, and for many, months,
Kind of interesting seeing how he talks about how you build this sort of base. So
he's the correct treatment.
Yeah, no, I agree.
it's not always easy, I guess.
Yeah. And like I say, you can live and die by
So even if you have all
that and stuff.
surgeries, the only
Especially
option
TV.
qualified
Oh,
for
it's much
treatment.
worse.
Osteoarthritis emerges two proven methods for knee arthritis relief. Using cutting-edge video imaging to precisely guide an FDA-approved nutritional gel into the knee, osteorelief doctors can get results.
That's right.
The caller.
Oh, is that? Oh, shit, you cashed.
To miss the joint 30% of the time. So if you try Sumart's Invis,
Oh, that's
Flexa or high outcome without results, this may be the reason. Call
Must be for a, could be
800-578-KNEE.
a landlord-tenant, you never know.
Osteorelief Institute, 800-578-KNEE to schedule your risk-free screening, 800-578-KNEE or 5633.
Their
I'm sure.
report card is in, and the results are devastating. Under the Senate health care bill, tens of millions of Americans will lose their health coverage.
Sometimes the
That's
camera
according
and
to
stuff.
the nonpartisan
Yep.
Congressional Budget Office. Our most vulnerable citizens could get hit the hardest. Children, the elderly,
Morning, Tom. How are you?
How are you, sir?
Excellent.
and millions
Excellent.
of veterans.
Good morning.
Where's
so
your
far.
compadre?
He should be here any minute now.
Okay, cool.
Little traffic coming from north.
Their lifeline, and
So I
any
guess
hope
he's probably here.
There's always traffic coming from north.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he was coming from Longmont, so.
our family,
Yeah.
You came from Long?
No, he was.
Oh.
Or
our
is.
senators
Yeah, that's
promise
long.
to protect
And I
our
talked to him about he was downtown Denver, so.
urge your senators to protect health coverage for as many Americans.
So, John, what is new?
No.
In a nutshell, what is new?
Yeah, well, for
Tell
us,
me what is exciting.
what's exciting for us is looking at planning to minimize or avoid capital gains tax, sell businesses to do that. So using the tax code to our advantage. So we've been really focusing on that the last few months, trying to get a handle of that. But
So here's
charitable planning and things like that.
to create leads for you.
Yep.
Since it's such slim pickings, by the way, in all media, it's not just us. It's slim pickings because of your criteria, right?
Yep.
So therefore, what you need to do is create a feeling. You don't want to actually create a feeling that you're for the masses, but that everyone can eventually be a client. They're not all going to be, but for the few listening, the way I think we appeal to get people to call is by simply not hiding the message that you're discriminatory.
Oh, absolutely.
mean,
We're growing our business selectively.
You are, yeah, that's right, on purpose.
Yep.
And there's
Let me get the other stuff out of there.
there's nothing wrong with that. I need paper here.
You probably don't want it.
No, just get some from anywhere right now.
Yep.
Okay, I gotta go to work here with you.
Absolutely.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Welcome to the show. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Every day we have interesting topics here. As a consumer advocate, you know, I do a couple things here. First, I aggregate voices together. I take your voice and add it with other people, and then we have power. Or I let other people know about your voice. What does that mean? One voice alone yelling in the car or at the phone or at the TV or at your wife or at your husband about, I can't believe what they did. That is nothing except frustration. You yell that on the street and you get a couple people to say, yeah, I know what you mean. That's a little more satisfying. At cocktail parties, at picnics, at outings, you know when something is bothering us, when we've been treated like garbage, when we have been dissed in some way, you know, you just feel like telling somebody. That's what this show is all about, telling people. And when you tell people, the good part is the people listening who identify with you will say, yeah, I know what you mean. That's what this show does. We aggregate aggravation. In doing so, we have power to do something about it. So it's no longer just pounding on the steering wheel, yelling at your radio or at your dashboard or at home. If you're frustrated, just please call us with any problem, question, or complaint. Because even if we can't solve it, even if we don't take it on, you're getting it off your chest. It's cathartic. It's wonderful. So, in addition to that, we entertain. Sometimes we get calls that are funny, sometimes very serious. We have fun. The other thing, we educate. We always have interesting topics, always. Yesterday we had insurance checkups. Do you know we saved in excess of $200,000 for people that called in? Some people as much as $3,000 a year, $3,600 a year, just by calling in and doing an insurance checkup. Something people don't normally do. Today we have money people. We're going to talk about money, financial planning. Now listen, these guys do financial planning. So if you have an extra $100 a week, they don't really want to see you because they can't do anything for you. But they can talk to you. You see, their client base has to have money to invest. You know, these financial planners, I don't know how they make a living. I really don't. First, their fees are not a lot. The whole industry in general, unless they're just crooks, they don't charge a lot. And if you have good guys like these guys, APO Financial, it's percentage of assets managed. Is that right, guys? So really, I mean, you got to have a lot of money to make money because the fees are not big. So you have to do volume, but you don't want a lot of little investors because you can't help them. So you need big investors or medium investors that are starting, but you need people that have the money to invest, right? I mean, let's just face it.
Yeah, absolutely, because you need assets for us to be able to make a living for ourselves
right.
as
So
well.
money can make money.
Absolutely.
But here's the point. The purpose of this show is not to have all those big money people call in. They can, but you can just call directly. It's for the people who want to be big money to call and find out how to grow your money from small to big. Everyone has a goal of at least financially succeeding. You could be the most liberal, socialist, communist, or the most conservative jerk. No matter what, you want to make it financially, right? Everyone does. Somehow, even people who want to take from others, they want to survive financially, right? Everyone has that in common. So what I want to do is answer any stupid questions for you on surviving financially. This is a time where you don't have to be embarrassed. Just call and ask questions. These guys, as I said, they can do financial planning for you, or asset management. I'd rather call it asset management for people with money. But they can answer questions for anyone. So let's do that. Let's take the mystery out of money with APO Financial. They're on my referral list at referralist.com. So on a serious note, if you're looking for anyone, you can call them directly. I'll give the number out through the show, or you can go to referralist.com and look for APO. Chris, what's going on with you? Chris?
Yes, sir.
What's happening?
Thank you so much for taking my call. I've listened to you for 30 years.
That means so much to me, seriously. So so you were just a young a young lass.
I was.
So what's going on now?
I have filed a small claims. I have filed in small claims court against my ex-landlord.
Okay, what are you looking for?
My whole security deposit back. Now.
Okay, and now, did he do the right thing, first of all, he or she, in the notification period, within 60 days, 30 days if it's not written in the lease, it can be extended to 60. Did they write to you and say, we're keeping it because of this, this, and this?
No.
So you never heard from them?
No, I contacted her the 38th day.
Well, first of all, was it extended to 60 days by lease?
No, it was not.
Okay, so she had 30 days, and you were wise in waiting till the 30 days ended. Now you have to give notice, and then you can sue for triple the amount. Did you know that?
Triple the amount? No.
Yeah, and just let me say something, Chris. Even if you did damages, it's too late for her to keep your money because she did not do it properly. She's supposed to delineate within 30 days what was wrong with the apartment, why she's keeping the money, or refund what she's not keeping. And because she did not communicate, you're allowed to sue for triple the amount of the whole amount. How much is in dispute here? How much did you have down?
$1,100.
Well, then she has to give you triple, and I would sue in small claims court immediately.
I have filed.
Good.
She is going to be served sometime this week. She did move out of state. She's in New Mexico.
That's hard. Now, because it happened here, you can sue here, and when you get a judgment here, and it probably will be a judgment, you can go to New Mexico and have it domesticated, it's called. You can give it to a collector, and since you got triple the amount, you can afford a collector who might take 30%.
Okay, my next question is, I received a check last week for a portion of the security deposit. This is after I had filed in small claims
Then you
court.
subtract it in court. You tell the judge, here's what I'm suing for. I'd like to subtract this amount.
Okay.
But I received it with no notification as to why she's keeping the rest, did you?
Well, when she sent me the check, she also sent me an itemized list of things that she took out. Now,
okay, hold on. What day did she send that? Was it after 30 days?
Oh, absolutely.
How many days after 30?
Almost a month after 30.
You know, here's the problem. I hope the judge may say, well, you know what, it was over 30 days, but really, I'm going to be inclined to let her slide. That could happen.
Okay.
It's not absolute, Chris.
Okay, let me ask another question.
Sure.
Couple of the things that she replaced were working when I left that apartment. For example, the microwave, the disposal, they were both in working condition. She replaced them and charged me.
How old were they?
I was there for 4 years, and they were not new when I moved in. I don't know.
Well, she's not allowed to just charge you. Did she charge you for the whole amount?
Yeah. Yeah, she bought a brand new microwave and a brand new disposal.
Well, obviously she has to take off. Even if you did destroy them, she would have to take off depreciation.
Okay, she didn't.
Okay, so then you bring that up. But also, you're going to dispute she even needed them. I don't know why she went out and bought them and said she needed them. What else is in dispute on that list?
I had the carpet professionally cleaned. She turned around and told me that the carpet was dirty, and she charged me for that. I had it professionally cleaned before I left.
Do you have receipts?
I do.
Go to court armed.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, that's all I can tell you. You're going to win.
Okay.
I think you're going to win. And you know what? I wouldn't get too nitpicky about what she took. I would say, look, she was way beyond the 30 days. And in addition to that, that's your primary argument. Then you say, and in addition to that, the items are inaccurate. And then go and proceed with your case. Live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, live at, I hope, Mark, did you get my note about Troubleshooter.com? We're still working bugs out on that new site. About the Look Live or the Watch Live. I know we can watch live on Referralist.com, and Referralist, it should be on Troubleshooter.com soon exclusively, but the video player, I don't know. I can actually look and just see. But anyway, welcome people to the show. We as I say, will come back with more, especially our guests on money, what to do with money. Mark has ideas on what he does with money. Mark likes day trading. Not everyone can do that. In fact, I think very few people can do that. I mean, that's not really a long-range thing. Not unless you really make it a living. I don't think it is. I don't know, Mark, would you dispute that? I don't think you would dispute that, right? It's not a long-range thing for most people.
I think there's a lot more people that do it for a living than you think.
By the way, speaking of planning, Approval Reverse Mortgage is the only company I would trust with your reverse mortgage. Now, I'm saying, first of all, it's not for everyone. In fact, it's probably not for the majority of people because they have other plans. But this could be a valuable retirement tool for you if you're 62 or older and you need to tap some equity. The older you are, the more beneficial it is. But to give you those answers, Joan Sullivan, ApprovalReverse.com. Don't rush into anything unless you call her 303-771-3528.
This report is brought to you by Bell Home Solutions.
Big delays on the north end of town due to that crash. Southbound I-25 at 84th. Looks like the left two lanes are blocked. It is a hit and run. Police are investigating. Backups past 104th. Give yourself plenty of time in that stretch. Construction clogging up the drive on the toll road, northbound E470.
Sort of trails from stop and go there. And there is
I want to sell an app for investing, where day trading, where whatever I do, you do the opposite, and you're guaranteed to make money.
Every time you invest, it goes down, right?
Let's put it this way. I have never been able to do it myself. Ever.
Mike's
Not easy to be able to do it by yourself.
I mean, I've done things that were so incredible.
last night.
Oh, by the way, this is a true story. Where my financial planner begged me to buy out $2,000 shares. They were killing that. Forward look back. She bought it.
That's all they care. Look at Microsoft. They killed it, and the forward looking was in there. But it's actually up over 7,000. It's $80 stock. Plus, Microsoft's got a dividend.
They are genuine. They absolutely.
You look at Amazon too. That in the '90s, late '90s, they kept bleeding money. And,
they started making money right last quarter of last year. But I mean, you had that. You talk about long range play. You had to believe in details because I'll be honest here. I was on the air calling him an idiot. I was calling him an idiot years ago when it started because, or actually years after, because he never made money. He lost on every transaction. I said, what an idiot. I mean, I want to know, how do you get people to believe in that long range investment? How do you do that?
It's harder today because society is training people to become the instant to the now.
Here's what I
But Amazon, I think he sold all sizzle. It looked so good. It felt so good. It operated so well. Because you did not buy it thinking you were going to make money.
Not at all. You know, it was a hope and a prayer that it might come through. And
it did. I think it did. I think it was a little bit of both. I think some of the hope and some of the hype made it successful. Don't you? The model is pretty efficient, but not as efficient as one.
They started off small with books and CDs, DVDs instead of, now they're in the mass.
And they're an aggregator, so people sell through before they sell direct.
But what's he going to do? You can't.
The direct sales I can't understand how they how they stock.
Yeah, there is a trail right to Don Island.
Well, sure, but I mean,
because they don't want this
automated systems that say when inventory gets low, it gets restocked. It's kind of like what
Walmart does. They built million square feet warehouses all over regionally in the United States.
The IRS,
they're working for same day delivery everywhere.
Absolutely. They're trying to make it instantaneous gratification. Instead of
they're building
into a store.
You got a U.S. attorney, and then an IRS on the criminal side. Both of them investigating now for over years. They have no reason not to find this money. And a bankruptcy trustee from his bankruptcy looking for it gets a percentage of whatever. I wonder if so. I mean, the money disappeared.
Well, on the come, or do they have this?
Yeah, but he's not.
No, I don't think Amazon.
No, there's no doubt. He's saying he's spending on lifestyle.
They say
a little this, little that.
If you want to sell your gas with us, you put it in our warehouse.
Yeah, he's probably.
In fact, I bet you vendors are dying to get it.
You better believe it.
Out of the bank. What do you
Well, it's kind of like the old
You
Walmart.
probably have to,
How many
you probably have to buy with others to get in there.
Oh, no question.
8-year period.
So he gets free inventory.
Yes.
You
So,
can
yeah.
take 100 out of
He may charge you. You're right.
To make up the
Everybody
difference.
knows it's gone, but you think there's a trail, but yet
Capture the majority
3
of it,
people
just
that have
bid
a
margin on
vested
the sale.
interest can't find it. Why would...
He may charge them warehousing.
Hey, Mark. Oh, how's everything with, did you talk to Amir about Troubleshooter.com or not?
Well, it should be done. What do we...
Oh, then you didn't get my email. I'm sorry. I just had to.
How are you?
No, I'll just about look live. I mean, you should say, yeah, watch live.
What about it?
Well, when I went there, let's just see. Is it working? Yes, it's working. Okay, but it had an old show up there when it's not live. I don't understand.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303. No, this is an old show, Mark. So, at troubleshooter.com, it's an old show. Okay, it's not live. Okay, welcome to the show, and we are here with APO Financial, John Goodhue and Brian Gray. We're talking about your problems, questions, and complaints, and if you have any money questions, give us a call, and we would love to answer them. I want to go to a couple calls, and then I do have a couple emails, and then for financial questions, but I want to say this. It's not just about investing, but about getting to a point where you can invest. Hasn't been a year, and it's leaking.
Finished in December.
Did they try to fix it?
They did try to fix it on, 2 occasions, and it did not fix.
So we had one of our experts go out and look at it. Deputy Dan, do you have photos for our live stream?
Forgive me, Tom. I forgot to send them to Dan. I'll send them now.
Okay, we're sending them to Dan so people can see them. All right, so the question is, where is the roof as far as quality, and was it done right? Is it defective? So we had Best Hands Roofing from our referral list at referralist.com. They're on the Colorado Springs edition. We had them go out, and what did they find, Suzanne?
So, Tom, I guess what John from Best Hands Roofing found was that they did a quick fix. They used silicone for shingles and around the skylight.
What about the roof itself?
It sounds like the roof itself is fine, but the problem is when they did this, I guess it caused a bunch of leaking that ruined her popcorn ceiling. So now she's got a problem with her ceiling inside, and they have not fixed the leak properly.
Hey, listen, I'm not sure roofers are responsible for damage inside a house unless they were negligent. If it's a normal leak, and if it was caught, if the owner...
Freddie.
Yeah, let's talk a couple things. First of all, supplemental insurance claims for the damage of the water you can get. And also, Mark was yelling, Freddie, that he's a public adjuster who will go in and look at any additional insurance money you may have coming from the roof claim without taking a dime from your original settlement. So any extra money he gets, when he charges a commission, it's money that you didn't know you had anyway, so there's nothing to lose.
And if water got in that house, I mean, she's looking possibly another 10, 20, 30,000 on a claim.
Doubled, right?
Easily. And water inside is huge. Skylight's huge. All this stuff people miss all the time.
So we're going to give you a couple things, a couple avenues. First, we want you to call this public adjuster to look at a supplemental claim, and I think you'll be more than made whole. Did Best Hands fix the leak or not?
I don't think they fixed it. They just assessed it for us.
And they said, so it still needs to be fixed.
Ceiling needs to be fixed, not patched.
I'm talking about the leak.
Right. He said it can be fixed by pulling up around 20% of the shingles and fixing the problem.
Now that we know this, let's call the roofer and see if they're going to honor their warranty. Tough roof.
Yeah, they should. Hey,
they should, but let's get a comment from Tough now that we have the assessment. Yes, Mark.
Don Eiley got sentenced yesterday. Remember, if you want to recap, 2 weeks ago there was sentencing, and the judge wanted to give him 15 instead of 10, which was outside the scope of what the U.S. attorney recommended. So his attorney fought for Don, and said, well, give me 2 weeks to come up with an argument.
And they delayed the hearing.
For 2 weeks, and yesterday was the actual sentencing.
And what happened?
He got, I'm pulling it up right now, exactly... 151 months instead of 180. So instead of 10 years or 15, it looks like the judge fell in the middle, gave this bum 151
12
months.
and a half years.
Yeah. So somehow he dropped off 2.5 years, which is amazing for all those people that were down there.
Well, the max under the statute was 10.
No, that's just what the DA, or not the DA, the U.S. Attorney, is the scope that he gave the judge. We're going after him for this time. He could have went for whatever they wanted to. There were so many counts. Plus, they're running concurrently where they could have all run back-to-back. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
So my point is, no. It was outside of the recommendation.
So he could do 6 years.
Well, there's $10 million missing. We've had this discussion. Do you do 10.5 years? Well, of course not for $10 million, but a lot of people probably would. Guys, how about you guys?
I would never give up.
Would you do 2 years for $5 million if you were 20?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't.
No,
well,
no years for no
freedom.
dollars.
Freedom is, to me, freedom is the ultimate.
Well, this guy's skating in 10 years. He's going to be out, and there's 10 million missing. So his family's probably got the use of that now, in my opinion.
So this is what I want to know, and I want to ask listeners, because we were somewhat criticized by one guy who said, you know, you report on this Eiley thing, you did a great job. He did say that. But then what about the money? Well, that's not our job to find the money. I mean, it really isn't. It's the government's job. I mean, you're lucky this guy was prosecuted. Without us, he wouldn't have been prosecuted. You didn't hear a word about this in any other media ever, anywhere.
And you talk about finding the money. Think about it. We've had a bankruptcy trustee that couldn't find it. We've had a U.S. attorney that couldn't find it. And we've had an IRS criminal division agent that couldn't find it. Those three people wanted that money. There's no doubt.
Or they haven't found it yet. But here's the deal. If it hit his bank account as Don Eiley and Associates, bookkeepers, right, accountants, it's in the account. Where did it go? He didn't pay the taxes. It was in the payroll account. And as Deputy Dan says, it has to go somewhere. Systematically, there was money withdrawn.
He's saying lavish lifestyle. That's what he's saying. In other words, he spent it all on trips and this and that. I think there's a chunk of change out there, though.
You think so?
Well, we know two things. One, he paid the house off, so that was $1 million, and then his daughter's college education, which was $300, whatever that was. So he admitted to that. Those are things they could find where the money went. But outside of that $1.5 million, they can't find anything. He says lavish lifestyle. That's a hell of a lifestyle.
303-713-TALK, 713-8255. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Even if you say lavish lifestyle, I will tell you that a good trustee goes over every dime that you spent. Every dime. And it's easy. And they can subpoena bank records, and maybe they're doing it now, Mark. We assume they're not. Maybe they are.
I don't know where he's at. I thought the bankruptcy case was said and done, but I agree with you. If anybody can find money, those trustees got a nose for it. They get a percentage of whatever they get.
Now, here's the deal. The trustee could have very well discharged the bankruptcy, meaning it's over, and he was allowed to do... Was he allowed to do bankruptcy?
I think he was forced.
Or was it dismissed?
No, I think he was forced into bankruptcy.
Okay, but that doesn't mean they stop. You see, there is no real statute of limitations. Well, there is, but it's a very long one for bankruptcy. You can't just go out and say, I really cheated, because they can go back and open it up and arrest you. You're not allowed to cheat. You just can't cheat when it comes to bankruptcy. You can't cheat. And these people who think they can, they're crazy.
You know, he was running guys, an investment firm, too. He was telling people to invest in this and that, this Don Eiley character. So he had all kinds of scams going, man. He was
on Facebook a year ago soliciting.
Looking for dough.
Or no, not Facebook. He was on LinkedIn a year ago soliciting for money.
Yeah, while under indictment.
Yeah, while under indictment. That's what you call balls.
Don't play kind of crook, too, right?
Oh, my gosh. Oh,
12.5 years now. Plus, actually, and I have to mention this to everybody, in the federal system, you automatically get 15% good behavior. It can be taken away, but so it's really 85% of 151 months.
And, you know, while we're talking about lavish lifestyle, I want to talk about rehab, because so many people... They didn't pilfer money, but I got to tell you, do you know that on painkillers, do you know what it costs just on painkillers? There are guys, now, I'm going to tell you, I know they do this because I've talked to them. They will do at least 12 10-milligram pills, 12 a day, okay? That could cost them upwards of $200 a day. So you take a guy, $200 a day times 7 is a lot of money per week, $1,400. Where's he getting the money? That's just one of the problems, the financial problems. If you have an addict in your life, even with liquor, it adds up. But what about the illegal drugs, the heroin and stuff like that, the pills? Raleigh House has lines open now for my listeners to call if an addict is in your life. Now, if you're an addict, they'd love to talk to you. Why? They want to explain to you how rehab works, what insurance pays for, what it costs, but more importantly, how to talk to your addict or how to get them into rehab or at least discuss the problem. It's not going to go away. If you're listening right now, it is not going to go away. TheRaleighHouse.com, but you should really call them. They have a loving, caring, expert staff. They do the whole health, blood work, nutrition, supplements, behavioral therapies. 720-893-5559. I urge you to call. You can lose nothing by calling. 720-893-5559.
The worldwide phenomenon is back. Our 27.
So anyway, I guess we usually make it the live player work.
I can do that in a heartbeat.
But do you have to do it every day? Then you have to put in a code every day?
Does a YouTube one, do we do every day, or that one's automatic?
It's automatic when I bring it up. What do you...
Do you have to go in and paste it every day?
No.
It's automatic.
It's automatic.
On referral list.
Referral list, I have to.
Oh my God, so we'd have to post it.
But we do that every day now.
Yeah, well, eventually it's going to only live on Troubleshooter with a link from...
Well, that's what I'll set up today.
Okay.
So it's no big deal. We'll just put it there.
Thank you. So from now on, our live will be on Troubleshooter.com. Now, people can go to referral list and hit a link, but it's not going to... The player cannot be on referrallist.com. The player will be on Troubleshooter. That has to be that way. You can't duplicate content. You can link to it, but don't duplicate.
Hi, I'm Donnie.
It'll
Fitness Gallery. Where
penalize our page. And getting the player off referral list is more congruent with content.
You're saying so
treadmills for last
listeners
and tough stuff strength.
No, the real reason is because
don't waste your money on inferior big box
with Google's analytics, with Google, they look for congruent content. It's a long story, but these guys went through our referral list and found what is not congruent with being a referral list. So we're moving that to Troubleshooter.com. Having 2 sites is better than having one all-inclusive site. And that goes for what you guys do too. I mean, if you had different segments of business that didn't fit, it actually penalizes your page by trying to group them together because it's not congruent. Google spiders look for, crawlers look for all congruency. And if they hit stuff that doesn't seem logical, it's penalized. That's why when people used to try to put naked girls in the meta tags or something to just get a lot of hits, well, if it's not congruent now, you're penalized. They don't let you do that. Well, they let you, but it hurts you.
IdealHomeLoans.com.
So one less thing to get around.
All of your home loan questions. Equal opportunity lender regulated.
And it makes sense if you think about it. Google wants to make their job easier to index accurate pages. So they reward people who are truthful about their content.
Keep it with that cool motif here at Brothers. Summer's not done, so it's a perfect time to call Brothers. A summer checkup for your home air conditioner is definitely a cool thing when that monthly power bill arrives. Plus, we guarantee that your system won't break down. And that's way cool. When you keep your system calibrated and clean, it just runs easier. And then you can really chill.
Brothers Plumbing, Heating, and Electric. Online at brothersplumbing.com. If you're exhausted or irritable or moody, it's natural. So many people think that's unnatural. They say, oh man, I'm so sluggish, I don't have libido, I don't have stamina, I don't have energy, I'm grumpy. And they say, what the hell are you doing, Tom? Why? Do you have lean muscle mass now and you lost all that baby fat? I mean, I was in worse shape when I was 40. Why? Because over the years, we deplete hormones. That's a fact of life. That's the real culprit. And one of the
major building blocks of hormones that help you with all others is testosterone in both men and women. Replenish it. BioT has the most natural way of doing it. Tiny pellets that are inserted under the skin that secrete over a long period of time, 4 to 6 months. You don't get the spikes and the lows.
That Don Alley guy, I actually met him a few years ago.
You did?
Yeah, he was part of a management group that we do with some training piece, but
was he smooth?
You know, I thought he was an idiot, personally, just from the conversations he would have. But, Sandler. Oh, yeah. And, I hadn't seen him in the last 2-3 years there, you know. And I'm just like, wondered whatever, you know, happens to people, but, obviously now I know what happened. But he was a tax guy that he actually signed up with, I think if I remember right, not America, he was American, not Americanized, but Transamerica was who BD was, if I remember right. I had to go back and look more, but it's done in my memory. I just saw his face and was kind of, I've seen him before.
So he wasn't real smooth, but he must have been good at taxes.
Well, that's where his main thing was, because during tax season he wouldn't, you know, be in that piece with me once a month, and it's just type of thing. And you know what's.
And I'm sure businesses, as long as they do it, and they don't get any bad things.
Oh, absolutely.
You gotta just keep the same person.
Yeah. Most businesses probably, if they're from a tax perspective, you know, if there's no audit, they don't even know there's anything wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's I think what we really want.
Hey, with all the hail damage around, Flexident of Colorado, you should go there. They are the preferred method, and I don't know why anyone would bother ruining the paint on their car. Check Flexident first. Ask your adjuster about it. They love it. They prefer it. Or go direct to Flexident. Give them a call. And even if it's mostly paintless dent repair, and some of it has to go to a regular body shop, it still is better, and you only pay one deductible. Call Flexident right now, and they can get you in probably later this week, definitely next week, because they have multiple locations. They have 40 years of experience. It's unbelievable what they can do. And some guy says, why do you say unbelievable? That means they can't do it. What I mean by it is metal has a memory, and when it's flexed back into shape, it's a great result, like it never happened. 303-619-6273. 303-619-6273. Flexident, Colorado. FlexidentColorado.com. And they can get you in. Okay, let's keep going here and do whatever we can to help you. We have APO Financial. And the one email question we have, I told people they can ask the most basic. So, for someone that, I mentioned someone has a couple $100 a week, extra money. Okay, for someone like that, what's the very first thing they do? I mean, they're gonna. What do they do? I mean, we can't ignore people that have a few $100 a month left, or at the end of a week left. What do they do?
Yeah, if they're just
savings,
yeah, if they're getting
CDs,
started, we would suggest, you know, building that emergency fund first. You know, get that 3 to 6 months minimum of pure expenses. Once you get those basics down,
that's your basic.
Absolutely.
That's you have to start.
So do not touch that. That is your emergency fund.
Emergency fund.
Okay, 3 to 6 months.
Yes, and that's liquid. Then man, that's something they can go touch, feel, pull out, and
a regular bank account.
Yeah, it's not going to make much.
Credit union, right?
Yeah,
but it's better than
that's
nothing.
where you have to start.
Yeah, we suggest having that account not tied to your debit card, so you're not tempted to use it.
Right.
The main thing is have that set aside so an emergency is there. And once you build that, then you can start putting $200 a month away, or even $200 a week away into an investment.
Okay,
account.
so first, that's the very first thing, guys, is emergency fund. I'm going to just put that down, and then I'll take the other questions in a minute here. Let's go to the phones. Patrick says there's a new phone scam. What is it, Patrick?
Hi, I've got several phone calls over the last week that are saying they start out with, you just called my number, and I didn't just call their number.
Oh.
And so then what happens is I go back after they hang up and yell at me. I go back and I look, and it's actually in my history that like 2 minutes ago I called this number.
What?
Now,
how could that happen?
I don't understand that. I have a 303-842 prefix number, and I get scam calls from 303-842 something.
Is it possible you pocket dialed someone?
No, because I go back through the history for weeks and I've never dialed this number ever, and it doesn't exist in my phone ever, and so I can't believe that my pocket is able to dial 3.
Then how does it show up in your history as you calling them? How?
I have no idea.
Well, we have to ask someone. I have never heard of that. But anyway, you call it a scam. What are they accomplishing? Ha ha, we got you. I mean, what big deal? I mean, what?
When I answer the phone call that I get, they're trying to sell me something, or they're trying, the typical scam calls.
Sure.
Telemarketer kind of thing.
Sure.
So I assume when they use my number and they're calling people, they're trying to do the same thing.
I understand. So they're using your number to solicit people, and the way you explain it, they're not only using your number, which you can do with spoof ID, they're not spoofing your ID, they're using your phone.
Right, yeah. So
somehow. Mark, do you think that's even possible? Do you?
I got a program on my phone. I can plug in your phone number and call people from it.
You can. Right.
Absolutely.
I can do that. Right. No, that's possible, Mark. But then if you call someone and you put in my number, it'll look like somebody got a call from me, right?
That's right.
But my phone won't show a call to that person.
Oh, no. How would that be possible?
But that's what he's saying.
Nah, that's impossible.
He's saying his phone...
He's wrong.
Oh, come on.
How is that possible?
Patrick, I would love to see your phone to see that. I want to get your information, and then we need to have anyone at all, call us if they have an idea of what the heck he's talking about. Either he's wrong, as Mark says, he's just flat out wrong, or somehow they are routing a call through his phone, which I find impossible.
No.
I know. I tend to say that too. So, Patrick...
Whoa. Unless, is it a Google number, or is this a regular phone number?
Patrick.
It's a regular Verizon number. And last week when I got the call, I looked at my history and it said I made the call 2 minutes ago. And I did not. I have no idea.
It is possible. Now, I don't know anybody that can do it, but I know it's possible to spoof a phone. Now,
what do you mean to clone a phone?
You literally clone the chip in the phone.
That's right.
So that's the only way, but man, that's highly illegal.
But if you clone that phone, you are making calls and you look like that person, but would that person's phone also show the same history?
Depending on how you're looking at the history, yes. Like, for example, on your bill or on AT&T or Verizon's website, yes, it would, because that phone number is accessing the network.
So can cell phones...
But I've never seen one, man. I'm telling you, that's like FBI stuff.
Can cell phones be cloned, basically? And that's what that would be the only way. It says one method, phone cloning lets you intercept incoming messages and send outgoing ones, as if you were the phone. If both phones are near the same broadcast tower, you can also actually listen in on the calls, and the history would be the same. That's if they are on the same tower and someone cloned your phone. But I thought cloning was only in the movies. I mean that.
I have never seen a clone phone, but I do know they exist.
Listen, get his information. If anyone calls with information on this, let us know. How could your history show calls to parties that you did not make? Let us know if you know. Carl, you're calling about a name of a blast from the past. What is this about?
Yeah, Tom. So, it's a gentleman that you used to have on your show occasionally.
It's a what?
A guy that you used to have on your show occasionally.
Yeah, you mean arguing with him?
Well, no. So
no, you're talking. No. You're talking about Peter Boyles. We never touted this guy as.
No, I didn't say you touted him. He called into your show a few times.
It pissed off. He was pissed off at me, right?
Yeah. Well, he answered some questions.
Who?
For you too.
This is the. It used to be. Gunsmoke was the name of his store.
Oh, I know you're talking
His name is Rich Wyatt.
They shut him down, man.
They not only shut him down, they raided him several times. They got him on a lot of federal charges, and every single time we had a call about him, he would deny it. He'd call me all kinds of names. Yeah. He was so belligerent. I tried to be nice to him. I really did, and I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. The biggest problem we had, it was with purchases. He would take money, and if they did not pass the background check, he kept the money, and he would offer offer to sell the gun. Here's what he'd say: I'll sell the gun for you and take a commission. But I said, you didn't even sell. What do you mean sell it for them? You didn't sell it to them because they didn't pass the background. And he said, if they don't pass the background, it doesn't mean they don't own it. It's just that they can't have possession of it. And then he said, the one big problem I had with him is he interpreted the law as, he says that the background check has to be done as a gun purchaser, but you can't be a gun purchaser and a background check, so you must buy the gun first and then get a background check, and then that determines if you get possession. I said, that's ridiculous. It's meant to be done before the purchase. And he says, no, because it says the purchaser or whatever. This guy was so hard to get along with. And you know, I never knew he was doing all that illegal activity that he was convicted of, or he pled to. I don't even know the story. I don't even know is he still in prison or not.
No, so here's what I'm trying to find out. He was convicted on 10 federal counts.
He what?
He was convicted on 12 federal counts.
All right, hold on. We'll come back to this because it sounds like it's going to be more than just a short story, okay? And we'll talk about this because I'll tell you what, the guy was like a thorn in my side for a while. He was constantly threatening us with lawsuits and that we were lying about him every time he was discussed on this show. By the way, Genesis Total Exteriors is busy. Now, the reason I'm telling you that is if you want to do an interior project later on when the weather gets bad and you want to start planning now, he would love to do that. And you can have substantial savings if you want to get on the books. And you can trust him. Genesis Total Exteriors and Interiors. They're doing siding, windows, gutters, painting, decks, fences, and roofs right now. But if you want to get an interior job as well, you can get lined up for the fall and winter. 303-679-8509. GenesisTotalExteriors.com.
Market's been killing, man. This reporting is unbelievable.
What reporting, guys? Oh, the period of reporting?
All the big guys are shooting out this week. Yeah. AMD killed it. Microsoft killed it. I mean, their stock didn't go crazy, but still killed it. Earnings are unbelievable. The one that was surprising, I hope you didn't short Chipotle.
I did.
Mark, I got this text late, by the way.
No, I didn't.
Sorry.
Did you see that they might have been some people actually
put rats in there?
Right.
I don't know. It was only one store. But Chipotle and then GE got hammered, though. They were down 12% sales year over year. That's huge.
Well, they're going to continue that problem.
And then Amazon, they come out tomorrow. Facebook is today. Google actually crushed it, but this shit in the EU is killing them. I never heard of a fine in the $20 billion range.
It's kind of crazy.
$20 billion?
And they're trying to figure out to monetize YouTube and I forget the other company. So it's just, you just never know.
I think long term, the buy and hold is Amazon and Microsoft above everything. I've got those in my retirement stuff. Amazon, I think, is going to just change the world. The only thing I worry about is some kind of antitrust or something coming out of nowhere, because honestly, if they buy something, they'd kill Blue Apron. They just mentioned they're going to be selling food. Blue Apron's IPO was around $15. Yeah. They got crushed.
You see what happened with the Kroger stock when they happened?
Oh my God, when they bought the grocery stores.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
gave Sears a bump.
Gave Sears a bump?
Because they started selling.
Oh, on Amazon. That's like all Sears is worth right now is Kenmore.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it is.
And Craftsman. Craftsman.
They sold Craftsman.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they sold that off.
I was thinking iHeart's a funny one here too, because they're pushing this app so hard. They owe $18 or $19 billion in the next 2019 or 18, within a couple of years, and they can't redo the debt. So I think they might sell that app off, which is going to be phenomenal amounts of money, but it's not going to be that much.
Yeah, Kroger was $30.
What's it at now?
20, almost 24.
So it lost almost.
Oh, it went down to 22. Yeah, 25% a day. That's a lot. Yeah.
And they're always busy. You walk into a King's or City Market.
No, well,
They're always going to be big.
The problem is
I disagree.
Who is?
They're going to start taking. Wouldn't you rather just order everything and it shows up? He likes looking at the damn women in the supermarket. Outside of that,
I just think you want to look at food before you buy it.
no, they're not going to pick
Staples
out.
isn't a big deal, but like you're trying to get fresh fruit.
Jeez, I still don't think. I wouldn't care as long as it's okay when it gets there. I don't care what my apple looks like, as long as it looks like a normal apple. I don't need to touch it.
I guess they'd have an image problem if they keep delivering bad fruit.
Oh, big time. Or meat or anything.
Yeah.
But I'd much rather boom, 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 boom.
Yo, Vinny. Joanne. Hello.
Hey, Vinny.
I just got a text from Vinny.
Vinny.
They can make
Joanne.
money cheaper by delivering
In New York.
My Goomba.
In Florida.
than you can by going to the grocery store and picking it up yourself.
What's that?
Someone's got to go pack it up in a box, run it over to you. That's going to be cheaper than you going to the grocery store? I don't think so.
Dan, that's what they said about Amazon for 10 years.
But and then
someone's going to do this, ship it, do all this.
This is food. This is a lot. This is a lot of food.
You're saying that the CEO of Amazon has no idea what he's doing. Is basically what you're saying.
I think there's probably a select market that you can do, but it's not going to be huge.
Well, it's not going to be people that don't usually shop on Amazon. They're going to be people like me that do all their shopping on Amazon. Amazon, I'll tell you who better watch out. Price Fix or Priceline. What are the other ones? Kayak. All these online vacation places. Amazon announces they're getting into that business. Forget about it, man.
Google's getting into the PNC business.
What's PNC?
Home and auto insurance. Yeah, so.
They're going to open an insurance company, or they're going to market their brokers?
They have it. They already have it. It's kind of like Geico Direct.
It's their own.
They're going to be a carrier.
Ooh, girl, you're shining like a Fifth Avenue diamond, and they don't make you like they used to.
Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. We discuss with our financial planners or asset managers. First of all, an ER fund. Emergency fund is the first thing, not emergency room. Emergency fund. That means you need at least 3 to 6 months of expenses socked away of your expenses to crack the nut or make the nut if you need to in the absence of work. Excess money after that, if you only have, let's say, a few $1,000s, or I don't know, what do you do with I don't know what the average person has. I don't know what nowadays with all these expenses, but let's say someone can put together a $5 or $6 grand a year, or maybe 10. What do they do? Above a retirement, right? Shouldn't they take advantage of all employer retirements they can, or IRAs, no matter what?
Absolutely.
So after, is it safe to say after an emergency fund, you got to max out qualified plans?
Well,
no.
Especially, yes, but
I would say,
and especially if you're working for an employer with a 401k that doesn't match. That's just crazy.
Right. But max out funds no matter what, because it's tax deferred.
It's tax deferred. Now you can have too much tax deferred money, but for people who don't have a lot of money starting out, they're probably never going to get there.
No, they're not. What do you mean by too much tax deferred money? What do you mean by that?
Well, for every dollar in a tax deferred account's growing tax deferred, which means it's growing taxable when you pull it out ultimately.
But why would it? Oh, okay.
And so
the whole idea is to shift the burden to later when you have less.
But but the reality is people who do a good job saving, they're never going to be in a lower tax bracket.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And so those people end up with too much money in retirement accounts.
Unless, of course, you can do the kind of retirement account you can borrow from.
You're talking about the more in the insurance side of things.
Well, sometimes some of that.
Yes. Now that side of it, because now you're dealing with pulling money out tax free.
Right.
Different story.
Right.
But in a traditional IRA or 401k tax deferred account,
you pay tax on it.
You pay tax on it, and you can cover, like a married couple, just a regular married couple with regular Social Securities, average Social Securities. When they get to the point where they have to start pulling money, they have to start pulling money out of their deferred accounts at 70.5 with required minimum distributions. They can have about $400,000-ish in those all their deferred accounts and be pretty tax efficient. It means they're not paying too much in taxes. Much more than that, they can't be, because they will be taxed on that money. Their Social Security is now going to be taxed.
But it would be taxed anyway if they kept it outside.
But if it was kept out, if it was grown in a tax-free account, like a Roth account, a Roth 401k account, or other tax-deferred vehicles, like the Index Universal Life policies and things that we talk about a lot. Now you're able to pull money out tax-free. And you're in the tax.
So you're saying balance, but with balance. In other words, not everything in tax-deferred accounts.
That's exactly.
Some you want to plan for, if you can, tax-free, and others you want to basically have normal investments. The percentages I want to talk about later on.
Sure.
But for someone with not a lot of money, an emergency fund, and then max out qualified plans.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, by the way, Carl, I am not forgetting about you. It's just that I realize we're not. I really want to talk about this Rich Wyatt thing and the gun store and all that with you, but I don't want to catch you short, okay? So I'm hoping you have patience, or we'll even call you back. And then also, Lisa is calling in with a cell phone saying she had the same thing happen on her phone, and I find that astounding. So please, Suzanne, urge Lisa to hang out, because if there's a cloning going on, we need to warn people about this cloning coming up right after the break. Now, Carl, in a nutshell, is Rich Wyatt out right now?
No, Rich Wyatt has been convicted. So the only thing that I was really curious about is when his sentencing was supposed to be on July 19th. What's weird is...
You mean all this time he's just been awaiting sentencing?
Well, he hasn't been in this whole time since that initially came out.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he was in jail this whole time. I'm sorry.
Not the whole time, but now as of March is when he went in, and then they hauled him off the second he got convicted.
But what do you have? What is new? Is there anything new? Because we're running out of time. Suzanne, ask Carl if he'd want to stay. I want to know what he's calling about. I mean, we know everything he's already told us, that Rich Wyatt was in trouble and convicted, and I need to know where we're going with the story.
Nothing is more important than your health. Hi, I'm Donnie, owner of Fitness Gallery, where we sell the world's finest fitness equipment. Now, through the end of July, save up to 40% off all floor models and clearance items. True treadmills, ellipticals, and bikes carry the
when the sentencing happened?
Top-rated treadmills for
When the
25 years. Tough Stuff Strength Equipment carries
If the sentencing happened, and how long you got?
Denver on 58th
That's
Avenue
what Carl wants to
I-25
know.
or Highlands Ranch at University
I'll tell you what, Mark, with this guy,
Fitness Gallery.
what really, he called, and I mentioned at the time, it wasn't Lee Larson, for anyone listening online. They quaked in their boots over this guy threatening them, and I said, there's nothing to be afraid of. Everything I'm saying is true. Mark, he had them so afraid, thinking he's going to sue them, and he wants money. He was basically trying to extort money from this station. And the one person that is no longer here, they were nervous.
He sold guns right directly to ATF agents without a license, undercover ones. This guy got really busted.
What do you mean without a license?
It says 2 undercover ATF agents wore body cameras while they purchased 4 guns from Wyatt on 3 different occasions.
But what's wrong with buying guns from a gun owner?
Because they pulled his license.
Afterwards. Okay.
He kept his, here's what they did. So basically they pulled his license for the original shit, and then he kept running guns basically by conspiring with the owner of Triggers, a gun store in Castle Rock, to operate Gunsmoke under a straw license. Somehow, even without a guns license, he negotiated $500,000 in 2011 for that stupid reality show and shot 26 episodes. That's amazing. ATF agents seized 583 guns and ammunitions from the Gunsmoke store on March 31st, 2015.
And also taxes, right? He did.
Yep. The jury found Wyatt guilty of failing to report $1.1 million in income to the IRS, conspiracy, and dealing firearms without a license.
But his wife got nothing, right?
Doesn't mention his wife at all.
And then they used to have a reality show.
He awaits sentencing. Yeah, it's been a while. I wonder why he doesn't. I'm trying to think who could look up his sentencing. I don't know any. I don't know any attorneys that have access to the federal thing.
Well, they all do, right?
I don't think so.
NCIS, I think. I think Lazara.
Ask Lazara.
Could Lazara look up sentencing for us? Is he around or on vacation?
More hires than the rest combined. Right now we're giving
what other attorney do we have that can look up in the computer?
What's his face? Kranak. He's criminal.
Maybe Kranak can look up the sentencing.
Richard Wyatt, with 2 T's, 53 years old.
The world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions,
but
and quality
I'll
standards
never
apply.
forget, though, because I had to answer to this nervous general manager who was literally, well, what if he sues one? I said, he doesn't have a pot to piss in. He's under federal indictment. But how do you know? I said, I know. He's going to be indicted. I said, this guy is in trouble. There's a buzz about it. And I was talking about that on the air, and he's saying, oh, but if he doesn't, we're going to be in so much trouble. And I said, we are not. I said, this is like for absolutely sure.
Stop worrying, right?
We're going to send you in
In our
undercover
opinion, to buy it from him?
to see if he's still.
What was the name of the reality show?
Well, he's in jail.
It was called.
You may have some old damage, call them. But
I'll
if
tell you.
anything happens these next
That was
few months,
American
remember,
Guns.
Excel
That sounds
they may not
about
come
right.
knocking at
Something
your
like that,
door,
but
but
something
they
about
will be the
American
ones you
Guns.
want. First of all, they're never going
And
to ask you to
his
sign
daughter
anything. to
made
look
a
at
name
your
for
roof. You
herself
should
there
never have to sign
and tried to
anything
be like,
that's
oh,
a bunch of
see,
crap.
just look up American Guns daughter and look at her image.
It was with Discovery
What she
Channel.
was trying to do, it's disgusting how he lives.
American Guns.
Tell you
Like
everything you need,
like
and if
the
you like it,
Kardashians,
you sign
you
it.
can try to do like
Do you see how he exploited her? Look up American Guns daughter.
Because they know how to deal with
I
insurance
guess she had
companies.
I guess she had
Pay or self
a hand in
call
splitting herself.
Excel. You will never have to put any money up front ever, and you will never have any penalty clauses in that contract because they know you want to stick with them and they don't want to force you. 303-761-6400, the only way to run a roofing company. ExcelRoofing.com. And look for Excel on my referral list at referralist.com. We get around on the Modern Eater and the Modern Drinker show this week.
What's sad is the guy had talent. You know what I mean? He had talent, charisma.
Is that his daughter?
His daughter.
Yeah.
My God.
Restaurant show. That more.
Jeez, quit looking, Mark.
No, but what I'm saying is,
She's smoking, get it? Because it's smoking guns.
Gunsmoke.
See?
Off any repairs you want to do. Budget A1 transmission and
Yeah.
auto repair. 303-781-90.
and the pictures that he
How do you
took
make
were
sure you get the
disgusting with
lowest
him and
rates
his wife
for
on
either
it.
a
He has
refinance
a
or purchase?
bikini. I
We're
mean,
getting the
who
right loan for
does
you,
that?
not the
Who
one they want to
really
sell
does
you.
that?
Take AIM, affordable interest mortgage.
Look at the Kardashians.
895-0500.
They make a living
We've been
off
offering our low rates since 2001. Loan programs to eliminate mortgage insurance and save you hundreds to thousands.
Oh, I set up a cryptocurrency account. So we're going to start just doing everything in crypto.
With only 1% down and no mortgage.
Do you guys accept crypto?
720-895-0500.
That's right, all your advertisers are going to start paying you in crypto.
Without having to restart your term. Home of the Asset Manager Mortgage, where you can pay off your home in half the time without changing one penny of your spending habits. Call 720-895-0500 to find out how.
It's major money.
CFPB stated that the consumer has spent over
No, they'll pay me in cash. I'll pay everybody else in crypto. My own
Call us
cryptocurrency.
now and start saving.
I'll set my own rates each morning. Today it's
I wonder what
64 cents
happens.
of it up.
I wonder really what happens to his family.
I'd be a nervous wreck.
God knows. They move on.
You know, Liberty Mutual actually.
That guy I had locked up for stealing from me, his old lady ended up divorcing him and all this shit.
That's
You gotta feel bad for the family, right?
Not me. I hated Jerry's family.
Keeping her home.
Unless they're part of it, I mean, like say, look at
I found it hard to believe how they can't know sometimes. Like nothing happened to Eileen's family. Hell, his daughter got a free college on these poor people, and then his wife isn't in any
well,
trouble.
look at what's his name, who's going to do the billions?
Madoff, his wife, they all retired rich as hell. I mean, not
she took away
compared
some
to
of it.
where they were.
Right, right. She was going, oh my God.
No, she's penniless, Mark.
No, she's not penniless.
She's definitely.
Madoff?
Madoff's wife?
No, not penniless.
Really? Look it up.
Okay.
Look it up.
She says she doesn't have much money, but she lives in like $1 million apartment.
Well, if you looked at, they said the movie was real. And in the movie, she was totally, the one that they made for HBO, totally penniless.
If you can, I'm feeling down.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Here to help you solve your problems and answer questions taking place. We talk about all of the important issues of everyday life and get your voice and put it together with others. If you feel you've been lied to, cheated, or ripped off, we want to know about it. We go after the bad guys. We reward the good guys at referralist.com. And if you don't use referralist.com, you really, really will probably regret it, because most people who call here with problems, the problems come from the other lists, every one of them. That's right. And it's the original list, referralist.com. Let's talk about this weird thing happening with cell phones. Well, we think it's happening. Cloning. Not just spoofing numbers, but cloning, because this guy called and said, Tom, I have outgoing calls from my phone that I did not make. And people calling me saying, why did you call me? Lisa says, and I said, that can't be happening. Mark said he's probably wrong. And I thought the same thing. Like, how does that happen? But then Lisa, you say the same thing is on your phone?
Yep. What happens is somebody will call me, and if I answer, I figured out what to do, but if they call me and I answer, it's a company saying they can get me credit card interest at a lower rate. Well, I don't have any credit cards, so I hang up. Well, the next thing you know, I'm getting phone calls from other people stating that I just called them.
What?
Yeah, but on your phone, does it show outgoing calls?
Yes, it does. On my bill, I'm like that other guy. On my bill, it shows that I'm calling these people.
On your bill?
I'm not calling them at all.
On your bill, not your phone, right?
My statement, yeah.
But on your phone, let me clarify something though. Does a Verizon bill or a cellular bill show every call made?
Yes.
Okay. Next question. What does your call history show on the phone itself?
That I had. Well, if I get a phone call from somebody, I will turn around and I will get on my computer and I'll look at it. Yep, it says I had made a phone call not 2 or 3 minutes.
I understand that part, but does it say
under your outgoing calls? Is it listed there
on your phone?
No.
Okay. All right. So that is somehow hacking.
It sounds like a spoofed number,
but it shows up on her bill.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds like a truly spoofed a cloned phone, not a spoofed number.
But they're not close enough, so it shows up on the history. It's just showing up on the bill, because if you got to be close enough to listen in or to have it. They say show up on your history. Lisa, that's weird.
And also, I've been getting another phone call from the same number, but I just refuse to answer it. And that number, I know what it is, and so I refuse to answer it. It goes to my answering machine because I've gotten to the point. If I don't know the number, I won't answer it.
But what is that number? What is that number you're talking about right now? That one that you said you know what it is?
719-648-6146.
What is it?
I called it, and it says it's no longer connected. I turned around, but every day I get a call from that number. Every day.
That's just, like Mark said, a spoofed number. Man, that's crazy.
But then there's other times I've called the numbers, and I'll tell the people, I just got a call from this number, and they'll say, nope, I didn't call you. So, yeah, but I figured it out, that once I answer the phone, they've got my number, and then they give it, it comes across to other people, and that's why I'm getting their calls, saying I've called them.
Wow. And anyway, this is something we got to figure out. Well, what's your carrier, Lisa? Maybe that we can have that in common. What's your carrier?
It's actually Verizon, just like that guy's.
Okay. Now, we may be uncovering some major phone thing going on, folks.
And Verizon got hacked not too long ago, a breach of data.
303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Wow. If you know anything about this, let us know. Live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live at referralist.com. And well, let's go back to Carl. So, Carl, now, Rich Wyatt, why do you care so much about... now we know why you're calling. You want to know when is the sentencing, or did it happen, and what did he get? Okay, good question. I don't know, but what is your interest in this? We're going to find out for you. What is your interest in this?
Well, I bought guns from the guy, and he was always all about cash. That's every time I bought a gun from him, he always said, well, do you want to pay in cash? Do you want to pay in cash? How about cash? So I always thought it was really weird. I never put two and two together, but that's what he was sentenced for, was IRS tax evasion.
One of them was that.
Yeah.
That was like 1.1.
He's got a ton of charges.
Failure to report.
Yeah. And a buddy of mine, he kept his gun, though my friend didn't really care too much. It was an old gun, piece of junk, but he kept it from him. So that's why I'm really kind of curious where he ended up at and how long and what happened. So I can't find it anywhere. I just cannot find it.
So many people put money down on guns that called us and said they never got any. But the guy got, he got what he had coming, and it's too bad because he was intelligent, I think. I mean, to a certain extent, maybe no common sense to get in trouble like this, but he was intelligent. He and his family had charisma. That show was not terrible. It was a reality show. I mean, the guy could have done everything right. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. I think he got filled with his own horse crap.
Yep.
And
yeah, if you can find out what his sentence was, I would be appreciative. I can't find it anywhere, and it was supposed to be July 19th, so I just don't have any clue where to look for it, how to find out.
All right, we're checking with our criminal attorneys to see if they can tap into some database. If anyone has an idea, give us a call. 303-713-TALK. Reminder, APO Financial is with us. John Goodhue, Brian Gray. Do you guys prefer the term asset managers? Do you like financial planners? What do you really call yourself? Strategists? What do you call yourself?
Well, we call ourselves retirement planners. That's that's really what we view ourselves.
That's really what all financial planning is.
Really, it is. But we use that term. We specialize in that. That's the area. Then we use asset management. We use insurance products. It just depends on the situation with people, exactly how the plan comes out. But it's all really about retirement planning.
It really is. Yes. Even if you don't want to retire, you want to slow down maybe or whatever.
Absolutely. I mean, at some point you will slow down. Health will catch up.
I feel badly for people, and I'm meeting so many people in their 60s that are working their asses off, even late 60s, maybe 70. They're working their butts off. They're contractors or they're hard workers. They can't keep it up, but they don't have anything to fall back on.
Oh, yeah. There's so many people.
They have Social Security, and you cannot... Is it safe to say you cannot live on Social Security?
No, you can't. Well, not here you can't.
Area, no.
I mean, up in the hills and hollers of where I come from in Kentucky, yeah, there's some people that can do it, but not here.
Down by the creek.
Yeah, down by the creek, up the holler. Yeah, you're exactly right.
Or in another country.
Or another country.
There are a lot of expats.
Oh, big time. That's a big thing people are doing now. If they don't have a lot of assets and they do have Social Security, just check it out. There are websites. There are companies that are promoting that, and you can do it. You can live nicely in other countries, third world countries, on Social Security.
You can stretch your dollar quite a bit.
And they're not all going to cut off your head or kill you or rob you.
Well, Costa Rica, for example,
is very friendly.
Very friendly, and on a regular Social Security with a married couple, you can live pretty nicely down there.
I've heard of that.
You can.
I wonder what they do for medical, though.
Oh, they've got their medicals included, like in Costa Rica. They allow you to be on the country's medical plan, and it's actually a really good medical plan.
Yeah, you go in.
Wow.
You go in with a serious disease. I mean,
they don't quite do that in Costa Rica. Right? No, there's some places maybe like that.
That's Belize.
deep in the Amazon, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so that is amazing. Have you had clients that ever asked about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have clients.
A couple clients down there.
We have clients that live they're expats and live, and they're going there.
Do they have to pay IRS? Do they have to pay tax?
As U.S. citizens for their income, yes, they do.
Even if the income is derived outside the United States?
They have to report it back to the federal
Do they
government.
pay tax?
Yes.
Yeah, what most
Really?
people will do is they'll domicile the residents in a state that is tax-free from a state income tax,
Right.
but they'll pay whatever
But they'll
federal
pay the
tax.
federal income tax.
Can you help
So
people
wait,
with
if
this
you're a
transition?
citizen, you have to pay federal tax, even if every dime is made. If you go to Costa Rica and you're a contractor,
Of course.
you literally have to pay tax in the United States.
It depends on the country, because the United States has tax treaties with several countries, and it depends on if you're
So you pay Costa Rican tax and American tax.
You can in certain circumstances you can. Now but in a lot of countries you can't legally work in those countries.
Okay.
Because you're not a citizen, and you're there. You can get into those countries, and you can actually live there because their laws are pretty lax. But they're pretty strict laws on earning a living there. Now, if you do it online, like Mark does with trading,
right?
Now he would be taxed in the United States.
Can you guys help people that want to transition or look into stuff like that with the retirement aspect of it?
Well, we know some groups that can help people with a lot of questions, because it's country dependent.
But that's not really their...
That's not our specialty.
That's not our specialty.
You're not going to believe this, but we got Robert saying his phone was hijacked. Scott's got a comment. Robert, please hang on. Scott, what's your comment?
Hey, just real quick, I had a friend of mine got a phone from Verizon. It was an Apple iPhone 7 Plus. Within a week, he had gotten a phone call from a guy, or from a person, excuse me, unknown number, and called it back, and it locked up his phone. He couldn't use it. He couldn't get into it. It basically turned his $750 phone into a paperweight. So I had heard about that before, and basically...
And what did it? A phone call did it?
He got a phone call from an unknown number.
And that was it?
Back as a missed call. That was it. It was done.
Oh,
there was no
my.
dial tone, there was no answer. There was nothing.
And his phone bricked.
Phone up and it was done.
It bricked. We need to investigate this, folks. We are uncovering what could be a possible big, giant phone scam. Hey, speaking of scams, don't fall for the guys that come to your door or call you or email you or scare you with
water. They say your water is not good. You need all of this expensive filtration, but they don't even do a good job. Most of them sell just carbon filters, which only filter out gas. In order to filter out sediment and drugs and all the stuff, the meds, yeah, there are trace minerals and meds and all this crap in your water. If you want to really, really do a good job, you need both carbon and paper or ceramic. It's a combination filter for media and gases. And I'll tell you what, we have pure water choices, thank goodness. No hype. They have whole house systems, point of view systems, and the most important thing, the truth about your water. Free evaluations, okay? And then they'll tell you everything involved in installing your system. 720-219-7818. Call about the truth. You can trust Al, a master plumber, pure water choices. 720-219-7818.
I might get to that Verizon hack.
This report is brought to you by
I sold
I wonder if
Wow,
I've gotten ever since that Verizon hack, I've gotten all kinds of crap text messages I never got before. I've gotten emails I've never gotten before.
Text messages from
Watch out for you.
It's all around hack that they
You know, Ross was talking about something that you can, the other day, and stuff about the iPhone 25 heavy because you got to put a special app on there because it wasn't kind of a scam. I didn't hear it all because it was just coming in.
That iPhone is junk.
In Denver and 72 with your traffic and Wagner.
You're right on bringing that up's wife, though. She's only got 2.5 million.
Yeah,
only 2.5.
She's got 2.5 million. How is that possible? How did she end up with other people? ABC News and...
Yeah, because according to that movie, she was like, fuck. Well, that is kind of penny. That's probably in her retirement.
Well, for her, that's penny.
Right. We have to live on that.
They said no more limos now. She drives a Prius.
Family, because
So,
usually and loved ones who
That's pretty old. Then they got a picture of her pushing a,
that's what I mean.
shopping cart.
How do you get to keep even 2.5 million?
It was probably an invested retirement.
What about the son, the one that's still alive?
Didn't one of them kill himself?
Yeah, wait, is the other one in jail too?
Well, one killed himself.
Yeah, but the other one is in jail or not?
I don't think he did.
I wonder why he killed himself.
Oh my God!
Oh, because it's a shame.
Yeah, but did he work for the company?
Oh yes, they both.
So he knew about it.
Yeah, they're on different floors.
How could they not?
Oh, they're in prison.
No. In the where Bernie had his office.
How did they not go to prison? They couldn't.
Well, one got out the hard way.
If you think about it, it was such a basic scheme. He was basically selling stuff to companies that he owned and just creating invoices on it, and then just moving the money around.
Yeah, but what's so sick about the whole thing, we had a lot of hedge fund managers, a lot of people in the security
Okay, it was
business.
reset for August 10th.
And and they were sending the money to his firm. It's like
Wyatt's
the
attorney,
number one thing
listen,
they don't do.
Wyatt's attorney
Send
has
to a
to be.
custodial account. You never send it to a firm like that. They were idiots.
Mark, Wyatt's
They
attorney
shouldn't
has
do
to
that.
have it.
Why? Because the guy's a nut, probably. Did the judge let him out?
I don't know, but they postponed it till August 10th.
The problem with these white-collar Fed crimes, the guy I got, it took, not only when, it just killed me, when you get convicted, then sentencing is months later, and they're almost always out for it. Then when sentencing happens, they still have about a month to get their shit in order and then show up to the federal pen they're going to. Now, what I did learn, though, is the federal pen could be anywhere. So it's usually never in the state you're in, though.
Yeah.
But also they said the federal pens are usually better than the state pens.
Oh, yeah, easily. Like Martha Stewart.
And that's what's too bad.
Man, Amazon's $1,050 now. I bought that shit at $1,026 like Monday.
Yeah. Just odd because the last time in March when they couldn't agree on the health care bill, the market went backwards. Yeah, the market's still going up.
You know, they passed they passed yesterday the
vote to vote.
The vote to vote, but it didn't even touch the market. The market's just like, geez, we don't even give a shit anymore. Earnings are so good around the damn country. Who cares?
That's what you go by, right?
Or everything being dead on lower taxes.
I don't know what to do on Facebook, guys. They're reporting after the bell.
Has a program to fit you. They can help you with that consolidation.
My biggest downfall.
What?
Well, Facebook, when it came out, dropped down to like $21.
Alibaba, man, I sold the day of the IPO. I mean, I made like $8 a share, but that shit, I bought it around 90, sold it at like 98, then it dropped down to 60. Now that shit's $1.50, $1.60. I knew it was a great long term. They're the only thing like Amazon out there.
Right.
Amazon needs to separate their cloud business, so I'd really like to see the difference in numbers.
You know what? That's not a bad idea because that would really pop. Okay, separate those two.
Google doesn't report. Google doesn't separate their click per clicks. They don't give the numbers on that. It's kind of weird.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter.
For the guy that called about this thing with Gunsmoke and Rich Wyatt, the sentencing has been postponed to August 10th, 2017 at 9 in the morning. Wyatt's attorney asked to withdraw as counsel. So that could change once again the sentencing. The sentencing is now set for August 10th, 2017. I don't know if he's in prison or if he's out right now. We don't know. I don't know. Rich Wyatt was found guilty on March 10th. I did not realize that the trial was as recent as March of this year. Did you know that, Mark? I thought it was last year. Anyway, he was found guilty on 10 federal charges, plus 1 count of conspiracy to deal without a license, and 9 various tax charges. The jury deliberated 5 days, and then it says 3 other charges of importing guns. They were hung on that. They could not come to a conclusion. I'm reading, by the way, from gunsources.com. Gunsources.com. I'm just picking apart this article here. So it says that he is due to be sentenced August 10th, but it could be postponed again because his attorney quit. Rich Wyatt, they said, has been around for about 2 decades, and he had a troubled path, they said, and it was a self-inflicted predicament. According to his own LinkedIn profile, Wyatt had relocated to Colorado in '81 so he could attend gunsmithing school. He went to, it says that he first attended Jeff Cooper's Orange Gunsight Ranch, and it just talks about how he was trained. And then he claims he was certified by the NRA and the Post Board and the FBI, but they don't know. They can't confirm that. Rich Wyatt has always had a flair for the dramatic. In 2002, Wyatt bought an ad in Soldier of Fortune magazine offering a $100,000 reward to anyone who killed Osama bin Laden with one of his Gunsmoke rifles. Did you know?
Marketing genius, I see.
You think that's pretty good. Few people know that Wyatt also ran for a sheriff in 2002. He was unsuccessful, coming in second place to another. Well, okay, don't only 2 people run or what? Oh, maybe in this case it was more. Not being one to shy away from the limelight, or to not win, Wyatt filed a lawsuit against his opponent. The lawsuit was dismissed, and Cook went on to win the election.
I think it's odd that his attorney wants out and they're only at sentencing. They went all the way through the trial, the indictments. Now it's just one part left and the guy wants out. I wonder if that's a ploy to keep the time ticking.
Basically, they said that he claims 22 years in law enforcement, and no one has been able to verify that.
Well, he watched a lot of Gunsmoke.
Then he said he was chief of police and retired as police chief in Alma, Colorado. I don't know what you do there, tip cows or... anyway, the city of Alma says that's not true. And he was fired in 2005. Then he filed a lawsuit against Park County to get back badge and credentials. Okay, well, anyway. Oh, no. He refused to turn in his badge and credentials, and the city of Alma sued him. Sued him to try to get it back. Man, this guy's had a troubled past. Okay, and then it says he was divorced, and then I guess, remarried, and so anyway, the American Gun Show was on. He was then found guilty, and now he's awaiting sentences. So the whole thing is at gunsources, for anyone that cares.com. I don't really care. I only get into it when people ask. But I just know that he did have a flair for threatening people with lawsuits. He threatened me all the time. He threatened the radio station. So anyway, he's probably off to prison for 10 or 15 years, which is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. He was a smart dude and probably could have done a lot with his life. Paul, what's happening?
Yes, hello, Tom. I was calling about State Farm. My wife had an accident, and...
Yeah, unfortunately, you have State Farm?
No. The person that hit my wife has State Farm.
Okay. By the way, after this call, you're not going to believe it. We have another guy who says his phone was hijacked. We have something going on. That's just a teaser. Okay, so your wife was hit by someone with State Farm, right?
Correct.
And what happened?
When I talked to the lady to file the claim, she was saying that I would have to go through their specific body shop for the repairs, or if I chose to go outside.
The party said that, or the insurance people said that?
The insurance person said that, or if I chose to go outside of their recommended ones, that the dollar amount that would be paid on it would be based upon their adjuster's payment or adjuster's valuation.
It's always like that.
Yeah. So do I have the ability to go in and get third-party estimates and have a...
Of course you do. This is listen, just because State Farm wants you to use their people, which is fine if you want to, or they say they will only pay based on their adjuster's valuation, not the body shops. I understand that. Listen, I don't like State Farm, but they want to make sure they pay for the damages. And you have absolute freedom to go and get that estimated anywhere you want and to argue that it's accurate.
What would be the process to argue that and win? Would it be through a small claims? Or
well, first of all, what makes you think you're going to have to argue? Take it and get it estimated to find out.
Yeah.
You know, there are plenty of good body shops that are on State Farm's list. You know, just because they're on an insurance list doesn't mean it's bad. But you must insist on OEM parts, and you must, unless, yeah, because you don't have a contract with them. With your own policy, you may have a contract where you accept aftermarket parts, but your contract is not with State Farm, right? So you can demand what you need. Rental car, you can demand OEM parts and all of that. But why don't you even look and at who's on their list?
Well, the reality is I flip cars and stuff myself, so I can do almost all this work. It's really just going to come down to negotiation of the value that they're going to pay me for the damage.
Okay, then you know what you're doing. You certainly have a right to do it.
Okay.
Do you know how much they valued it at?
No, it just happened last night. I was on the phone one morning, and I was just sitting there going, okay, so now she's going to say that it only goes by their adjusters, dollar amount, nothing more, nothing less, and when I take it around to a couple other body shops for estimates, pay them to do the estimate, and then, you know, then I got to go through a negotiation with them to say, no, your adjuster is way low. Which I expect that to happen. I don't know that.
Also, check our referral list for body shops. We have some really. Oh, unless you said you're doing it yourself, right? That's what you said.
Yeah.
And okay. And now listen, I promise you, I am not trying to make you sue or do anything. But how was she hit?
Rear end. She's at a stoplight, and the guy rear-ended her.
Now, here's what I want to tell you, and I promise you, I am not this type of person that wants to drum up problems. But I will tell you, and the truth of the matter is, this is the kind of thing that can show up later on with problems when somebody is hit from behind. And I urge you to have her checked out medically and to leave your options open. And then you also ought to give a call to Fuller Law, John Fuller. He's a personal injury attorney. Not because you want to sue, but because you want information. And he can tell you, even in smaller accidents, what it's worth or if it's worth anything. Seriously, this is your right when someone is negligent, and they're insured especially. This is your right. John Fuller is not going to make a case where there is no case, but at least check with him. But also check medically, please, that she doesn't have something that will come back to haunt her and then it's too late. John Fuller, Fuller Law, he's on my referral list, personalinjuryco.com, is 303-597-4500. 303-597-4500. Now, also, on our referral list, we have some body shops. We have Colorado Auto Body. I've used them. Also, Michael's Auto Body. And
unfortunately, I've used Michael's like 4 times. They are unbelievable.
We have more coming up.
The worldwide phenomenon is back. Hour 20.
God, this guy, this guy's had a lot of trouble. Holy shit.
I wonder why his attorney wants out at the last second.
Yeah, oh my God.
I never even heard his show.
It's so hard to get along with. Oh my God. The stroker though? Yeah, because he has an attitude. No, but what would they do? They shoot guns?
He's got a chip on his shoulder.
They would shoot guns. They would sell gunsmiths, sell guns like Beverly Hills Pawners and people. Okay.
That Vegas one. I love that show though. I love it because of Pawn Stars. I love the history lesson out of a lot of this stuff. I love it. Although the one guy got busted for meth and some other shit. No, he was out of his house, kind of that Chumley, kind of the dumb kind of kid.
He just happened to be in the right place, right time.
Yeah, I went to school and was good friends with the owner's kid.
Free of charge. Piggyback. He had 100 new photos of his wife that had gotten divorced, and she seemed to get him back the entire job. And he said, finally, he returned some of them. One was using comments, and the judge ordered his assessed for contempt.
You know what? I don't understand that. I thought if you took a picture you automatically have a right to that picture. Is that not true? Yes, of course they are. Look at how that works. I never thought of that. What did you do? Let's find out. I didn't have it. Oh, the kids on the show are not his, by the way. Oh, okay. Oh, he's got actor children. Now it makes sense why Gary Coleman was playing his child. The security guard. He was a security guard at an arcade in the mall, if you can believe that show. Imagine going from a hit TV show to being a security guard in the mall. His brother on the show, Todd Bridges, he's on a show we like watching, not America's Funniest, but America's Dumbest. Oh, yeah, it might be criminals, car crashes, anything, college students, whatever, the dumbest stuff. It's all accidents. And a lot of Russians in it. The one thing about these dumb shows, they all have Russians left and right. It's like the Russians do the dumbest shit ever, like, drive a car on the ice that falls through and try to help one guy out and total the other car. It's just constantly as Russians. And vodka is always part of it. But there's a never-ending Russian catalog of bullshit.
Top-rated treadmills for the last 25 years and test our strength for 46 years. Typical lifestyle commercial equipment. And fitness galleries over 20 years, we've been providing the highest quality fitness equipment money can buy. During our floor-long prices off, low prices nationwide. Now is the time to invest. Come to locations and try every piece of Denver on 50 and 95. Colorado, nobody knows where it's at, right? Shopping small towns. Check us out at fitnessgallery.com. Fitness Gallery, getting Colorado in shape since 1997. If you have an elbow that's sore, maybe you need knee surgery, or you think that your shoulders back is ailing you, if you want to know
I can't wait. Friday, Exxon, and what's the other one? Here's the big one, Chevron, maybe. It's crazy weekend. For the most part, the earnings are unbelievable.
About stem cell therapy put on by Stem Cell Institute.
God, I miss some of these. See, the problem with day trading, like I was day trading Bank of America like every day. If I just bought and held it, I would have made way the hell more than the spread I was making each day. Because I mean, it's up what 50% a year. They're making a lot of money. They sell in New England, in some restaurant locations, they sell a McLobster, like a $9 lobster roll. A $9 lobster roll at McDonald's, I bet it's probably pretty good. If they're really putting it on the menu and selling it, it's got to be out of the road. That's a lot.
I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. APL Financial is with us, and we will get back to that in a second here. Robert, you say your phone was hijacked as well. How?
I was, Tom. This is Robert Gauss.
Yes?
I used to be on the referral list. We parted on good terms and all that.
Hey, Bob, how are you?
Good. I hope you're doing well. I really enjoy the show.
Thank you.
This stuff with Wyatt, have you heard this guy, Don Eiley?
What, did I what?
Have you heard of this fellow, Don Eiley?
Yeah, we have heard of him, yeah.
Oh, you covered that? Yeah. It's important, people hear about these things so they don't get taken advantage of.
Yeah, you're kidding about Don Eiley. We're the one that broke the story. We're the one that found him. And we're the one that made so much noise they couldn't ignore it. We
had a referral list member reach out to us and go, what do you think of this, man? And then the whole thing just unraveled.
Yeah, so anyway, so what's going on?
Would not surprise me. That really helps a lot of people. So, yeah, phones are being hijacked. I have a Verizon cell phone, and I get a call that I've won a free contest
contest for a hotel room or some such, and it keeps happening.
Yeah.
So finally, I call the number back, and I'm yelling at this schlub, I'm a lawyer, I'm going to sue you, yada, yada. And this poor schlub is just a random guy with a cell phone number like me. And then someone called me one day and said, stop calling me with these ridiculous contests. And it was someone had been using my number to pull some kind of scam.
I wonder why. Is yours Verizon as well?
It is Verizon.
I wonder why every call's Verizon. They're on I believe they're on the CDMA network, which is a little older, so they don't have SIM cards in some phones. Why is it Verizon, though? That's the part that's weird. Why not AT&T, T-Mobile? Why?
No, but it's definitely a real story, and people out there, if you call the number back, you may get a perfectly innocent person. And everyone, these people have everyone in Denver yelling at each other. Why are you calling me?
That's pretty wild. I can't figure out, Tom, why it's just Verizon, unless if it's just that CDMA network.
But by the way, how is log doing for you?
The law?
Yeah.
Oh, just fine. Just fine. I've been over there in the west end of town.
Yeah.
I've heard stories about Wyatt for years, too. And,
well,
this Don Eiley fellow, I helped some of his employees who were completely innocent.
Oh, for the bankruptcy.
They were just innocent of any wrongdoing. Everyone, he hurt a lot of people.
Yeah, he sure did. And seriously, Robert, we were the ones that broke that story wide open, and I think we're probably responsible for getting him prosecuted because truly they were not looking into it.
When he was still in his office, I went down there and confronted him face to face.
But yeah, thank you for calling, Robert. You ought to get back. You ought to get back on the referral list. We really, really have grown quite a bit in, let's say, website.
It's got to be tough on bankruptcy attorneys. I mean, Wink and Wink do such a great job.
They do.
Trying to even do as well as they do would be hard.
No, I mean they are. You're right, Mark. It is hard. It is hard. And by the way, this is weird. Dan calls in. I go, oh, there you are, Dan. I'm sorry. There you are. Okay, Dan, you said you're a good friend of Rich Wyatt?
Yeah, hopefully I can consider myself a friend. I think Rich Wyatt is kind of like you and me. If you become enemies with him, you're the worst enemy in the world. But if you're friends with him, he'll do anything in the world for you. He did me good. I painted his houses, I painted his shop, and he was always fair and nice to me.
I had nothing against the guy. I just had major disagreements with how he decided on his business and some of the consumers.
I remember the days where he said, if you take my course, I'll give you your money back. But if you want your money back, I'm not going to give you your money back. And that was a big deal with a lot of people. It's like, well, why don't you just give them back their money? And it's like, well, when you make a deal with somebody, you come to my...
Well, what that one issue was, is he said his class was sold out with a waiting list, and this one guy could not make it to his class and wanted a refund. And he said no. And I said, well, technically, he did take up a seat, technically, but he said the gun's it's a month away, and you can easily fill that seat. Why wouldn't you give the guy money back? You're not going to lose anything.
Me and you would probably do that, but when the guy talked to him, he got rude with him, then he fought with him. But what he's facing right now is the government. The IRS came after him. He lost $2 million.
But Dan, you can't say he did nothing wrong. The guy is arrogant and tried to play the system. They weren't out to get him. He waved a red flag saying, "Come and get me."
Well,
if you think you can.
What he's looking at right now is he's looking at 34 years.
No, 15 years max. 15 years max.
I just talked to him, so he's looking at 34 years, and they took $2 million from him.
Okay.
So, and then
the prosecutors say 15 years. So okay.
I talked to him personally. He's selling steel buildings right now. So what happened? I think when he changed is when the TV program came in, and they started offering him money and a TV promotion, and they said, we'll make your daughter famous. We'll make her into a model like the Kardashians. We'll make your kid famous for his tool dying on the guns. We'll make you a millionaire. And then he just went off the deep. He was even weird to me, Tom. I mean, you'd see the change in him to where, his good friends and his people around him, like he had changed because, now he's going to be this big millionaire and be on the show. And I think that was his downfall. I think when he went on that show, he changed. And it's too bad. But I knew him back in the day where he was pretty honest. He was nice, but when he fought, he fought. And when you fight, you fight.
Yeah, but Dan, I want to make something clear, and I mean this sincerely, too, because you sound like you're sincere. I'm not anything like him, and I want to tell you why. I don't fight people for the sake of being right. I try to fight people who I think are harming others. I swear to you, when I find out differently, I change. I do not staunchly hold on to an opinion.
Nor do you move guns through a straw.
No.
Tom, I have appreciation towards you because me and you fought years ago.
Over what? Over what?
You used to always say that painters are drunks and alcoholics.
I was half joking, Dan. I
think throughout the years you've learned, but I don't drink, and I do big commercial jobs like I did the outside of Perina.
Yeah, but you get a hell of a buzz from that paint.
Dan, I was joking. Just like I joke about pharmacists, you know, counting the pills and the colors and not being, you don't have to be smart. I joke. But so many people get so bent out of shape. You know, and when I say dentists are guys who couldn't go to medical school, so they opted to be a dentist, you know. It's like jokes, you know. John, I need to take you after the break, but this is a weird one. Your common-law wife disappeared with all your money.
Yes, sir.
How long were you married to her?
Just a little under a year, but we moved to Colorado together about 3.5 years ago.
Was she truly your wife, your common-law wife?
We both knew that we were married.
Okay, then you are. Okay. And because it would be better if she wasn't, as far as getting the police on her, but now it's basically going to be a civil dispute. Hold on a second, all right? Just hang on. I think we should try to get Bonnie Shields. We have more coming up.
Mapping out the next hour. I got some emails, but I want to know, so let's start off with emergency funds max out qualified grants. Now I want to know something else. What do you want to talk about next hour? Any topics that you want to touch on? What's that?
Being tax efficient.
Tax efficiency. Okay.
Really look at people that are large real estate moving on unemployment and without minimizing taxes.
What else? Tax efficiency. What else? Any changes in investments or investment law?
The fiduciary rule, which is still kind of in the gray area.
Let's talk about that. What about insurance people calling themselves an alternative? That's what's pissing me.
That should be illegal.
They have one product.
That's all they have.
I'm not saying they have a bad product. No, they're not.
They're not financial.
Yeah.
I agree with passport office there and get a new passport. No Social Security, new Social Security card. Money, recognition.
It's like international when you make it all. All you need is an appraisal. 5 3-week closes, and everything is guaranteed right. I keep the law in the current Ideal Home Loans for your next ideal home loan. 303-867-7000. IdealHomeLoans.com. Ideal Home Loans is regulated by the Division of Real Estate and MLS number 136756. Call 303-867-7000. Example based on 255.
I've made
32% ATI 7 credit score block.
Probably 30% this year so far. Yeah, but I think almost, if you were either banking or tech, I don't know how you did anything.
If you're playing the big names, you're going to move up and you got another chance. Like Kroger, that's a different story. That's been trained down in the last 2 years. Retail's here. Retail's good. Walmart usually does okay. They kind of got their own little budget. Yeah.
But you might say oil tankers at a 10% dividend. I can't think of the name of it, but his principal is just taking a giant shit, so it doesn't even matter.
So it doesn't matter how big your dividends if your stock price is dropping faster than dividend payment every year, you're going to wind up on one side of that.
But all the company does is they have all these tankers that float out the ocean with oil on them because there's no place to deliver the oil.
Yeah.
I just unplug that camera and plug it back in. It's got to be that camera.
Business, except when it comes to the IRS. I refer them to Larson Tax Relief. If you owe back taxes, if it's been years since you filed, these guys are the best. They're smart, they have a fantastic team of experts, and will understand your situation. Their name says it all. Larson Tax Relief. Relief from your tax debt problems. Larson will get you the absolutely best possible resolution. You won't have to worry about your wages being garnished or losing your house. Larson will get between you and the IRS. Hi, Tom Martino. Welcome to the show. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Okay, now, is Bonnie Shields around, our family lawyer?
Tom, she's not answering anywhere.
Coming up in the next hour, though, we will talk about tax efficiency and what should you expect from a financial planner or from someone who calls themselves an asset manager or financial planner or a retirement planner. What fiduciary duty do they have to you, and what does that mean? And what can you do about it if you got into a bad investment? So many people get pissed if they get in bad investments or don't have communication. You know, you'd be surprised. There are a lot of lawsuits from against investment houses and stuff that burn and churn your money. So these topics are coming up. What did you want to say? I'm sorry, Brian. Did you want to say something about that?
No, I was just going to respond to that.
Well, basically, the fiduciary thing is a big deal. They have a duty to you, right?
If you're a fiduciary, that's right.
Now, what determines a fiduciary? And we should really define fiduciary. You say a fiduciary. We're talking about a trusted advisor.
Or a fiduciary is a broader term, and there aren't that many professionals in the world that are fiduciaries to their clients. Lawyers are one of them. CPAs aren't, as strange as that may seem.
No, because they're number crunchers mainly.
Right. They're not fiduciaries. There are only a very limited number of people in the securities world, the financial world, that are.
It really means depending on their trust.
It really depends on their licensure.
Well,
and now we have
their judgment, their trust and judgment. That's what lawsuits are brought about.
The lawsuits are brought about the breach of that fiduciary duty, and that fiduciary duty just really means it's the highest level of care that anybody can have for anybody else. They have to put your interest first at all time, not their interest.
They must.
And they have to do everything in your best interest.
Right.
So that's really what it is. However, not everybody in the financial world has a fiduciary duty to you. And that's the thing that I think most people don't understand. I think most people think that if I'm working with somebody and they're my financial advisor or they're my insurance advisor or whatever, that person is always doing everything in the best interest and they have to legally, and that's not true. And so it depends on their position. And now, with the Department of Labor, just got involved with because they control IRAs, all tax-deferred monies, and at least regulation. And now they've gotten involved, but it's gotten very gray because they've pulled a lot of the regulations have been pulled back.
What do you mean it got gray?
Well, it was going to go into effect this year in April.
On June 9th.
Yeah, June 9th. That any financial person that deals with IRA money,
right?
Okay, they were going to be a fiduciary. I don't care what licensure they had.
Right, I understand.
So,
but that changed, or that was delayed?
It was delayed. A lot of the implementation was delayed right now until January.
Okay, but what I want to say is I think it's important that they be fiduciary.
Oh, absolutely.
Because people aren't buying a product that they can examine. They don't know anything. I have to depend on an investment counselor. And they should have a higher level. But it's going to weed out some of the bad guys.
Oh, and that's our hope. But that's
so right now you are not considered a fiduciary?
We are a fiduciary.
Yeah, our firm is.
Because our licensure, we have what's called a Series 65 license in the securities world. Therefore, that makes us a fiduciary.
But not all people, like insurance salesmen and stuff, are fiduciaries.
No, sir, they are not.
And that's very important. We'll talk about that coming up. Okay, so John, how much money is missing? John.
Yes.
How much money is missing from your common-law wife? Let's just call her your wife.
Yeah, about $30,000.
Now, did you have any clue?
Especially when you factor in the debt.
Did you have any clue this was happening, John, or did you just wake up one day and she's gone?
I had no idea. However, in hindsight, I believe it's happened before.
You mean with other guys?
Yeah, with another guy.
Now, your Social Security card was taken. Why, I don't know. She can't use it.
Well, we had 2 storage units. One was things that I sell online. Another one was her items. I've been working a lot, and she has not been. And she has all of the documents. So I don't have my truck title. I don't have my social, my passport.
Where are these documents?
I believe that they're in her storage unit. However, they could be with her. There are also a couple other assets that are mine that she has.
Like what?
Like a very spendy watch and a handful of other things.
And when did she take off?
Last Saturday, and I have not been able to get in touch with her. She said she was staying at her cousin's, and I believe that's
well. When did she say?
Address.
When did she say that, John?
Things kind of came to a head this weekend, but
so you knew she was leaving.
Correct. However, we had things that we needed to get sorted, and she just disappeared.
I get it. So you knew you guys were having problems, and she left with the stuff. And what do you mean she said? When did she say she was staying there?
Earlier that week.
Okay.
She said she was going to stay with her
did you check with her sister or whatever?
I did. I showed up, and they met me at the door with pepper spray.
Did she ever accuse you? Did she ever accuse you of anything?
She never had, but I believe that was kind of her out.
All right, you hold on. We got more coming up. Hold on. Hi, I'm consumer advocate Tom Martino. You've heard of
it because I'm going to need some 30s. He's going to run 30s in other shows.
I know that. I'm working on those.
Okay, perfect.
Ideal Way. Here to explain is Brett Ivinson, president of Ideal Home Loans. So many people have equity again, Tom. This is one of the ways you can truly let your
we're not even close to getting the schedule for him.
What's that?
John is working on the schedule through Hasina for him.
I just talked to Frank. He wants me to get him a schedule together. John told him to call me.
Strasburg did?
Yeah.
Well, that's not okay. He's supposed to work with Hasina.
But no, I already flagged him under major radio.
Hey, John, I agree with the list.
What are you talking about? John is his agency, Mark, for all his other advertising. What do you mean you flagged him? What does that mean?
Frank called me and said John told him to basically call me, and he asked me. He said, "Can you book the spots for me?"
This is Denver's
Probably get more than that next week.
on 630 KNOW, an iHeart radio station, KHOW, Denver.
Speaker
what was it?
Just shutting it down, putting it back up. So
a year now, transgender people have been allowed to serve openly in the military. It's unclear what happens to them now. In a statement, the Pentagon referred questions to the White House and said that revised guidance will be provided in the near future. House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi tweeted, "This fight is not over."
I think John told him he doesn't book any radio.
Okay, good. He's just doing his TV. That makes sense.
Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz
Which is weird. He wanted to know. I don't know why then he did that. He emailed Jesse, and Jesse told him to work with Christina. So I don't know why that happened.
Alwan had a ticket to Pakistan when arrested. He's been made to turn in his passport. Will wear an
I don't know, but I mean, mine will be less for him anyhow. So.
Zero getting revamped with a new name, Coke Zero Sugar, and a new recipe. Fox News, we were 4, cute inside.
You get that done? What? Coke Zero is going to make over.
You mean a picture or a new? Geez, remember when they did New Coke? They're not doing that again, are they? New Coke Zero.
New Coke Zero.
That really gave them a bad.
New Coke.
Yeah. I didn't realize people liked that much.
It was good for McDonald's, though, if I remember, because McDonald's is the only place you could get it when it rolled.
Yeah.
And then it hit everywhere. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it was good or bad for them. Sales, I never looked at the sales numbers. It could have been, it did?
It went down because people didn't like the new recipe. They wanted the old original.
And then that's why they went back to classic.
Absolutely recalled it classic again and then phased out the new.
Could you guys tell, you drink a lot of Coke? You drink Coke?
Yeah, Diet Coke.
Can you tell the difference between like Mexican Coke where they use cane sugar?
Oh, absolutely.
You can.
You can, yeah. Dude.
They sell it for a hell of a lot more.
What are you talking about? Coke with cane sugar versus Coke with corn syrup.
Yeah.
You know, which is weird because they're both exactly the same when it comes to your body. Exactly.
Oh, no, I agree, but corn syrup, you can tell the difference there.
No, I know, taste-wise maybe.
Taste-wise, but yeah.
But your body does not know the difference.
Yeah. But like say you go to Home Depot, it's like $1 a bottle.
No, but people believe cane sugar is somehow different or healthier. In fact, your body doesn't know the difference between cane sugar, corn syrup, agave, or potatoes.
Whenever you go anywhere. But iHeartRadio is more than radio. Tell us what favorite show you love, and the iHeartRadio app creates a custom station just for you. With the smartest conversations, you know what? It's that easy. And as you listen, thumbs up or thumbs down, we personalize the station to suit your taste. So right there on your phone, it's in your pocket. KHOW and your own custom stations based on your choices. Download the free iHeartRadio app now.
And I'm feeling down. Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome to the show. Here to help you solve problems, to answer questions, to take your voice and amplify it so you can be heard, so we can help you with those everyday aches and pains. And we always try to bring you topics near and dear to your heart. And Pocketbook APO Financials with us today, retirement planners. And almost everyone can use advice from time to time, whether you're investing on your own or saving money or whatever. How many, though, really have enough for retirement? How many do? And how much do you have to make a year and have in expenses? I've never asked this question before in order to build a retirement fund. Let's say we have a pretty big audience in the 30s. So let's say we're talking to them. And before I do that, I just want to mention more on our phone cloning scam coming up. If it is phone cloning, we don't know what's going on. But a lot of people are reporting that calls are being made from their phones, not just as a spoofed number, but it's showing up on their bill or even in their call history. And we're going to be covering that as well. But let's talk about this. Okay, so let's take a guy, 32 years old. He has a couple kids and a wife. Together, what do they need to make to have money for the future? They got 2 kids, they're in their 30s, and they want retirement, and they want college. So, I mean, what is the formula? Not everyone makes a couple $100,000 a year, so what do they need?
This kind of goes down to a general rule of thumb, but as a couple with children, you have to be saving at least 10% of your gross income to be able to try to have a leg up in retirement, just to have enough savings.
10% of gross?
Yes. 10% of gross, correct.
Okay, so if this couple, if they're successful at what they do, what would a middle-class couple with 2 kids be earning if they both work? What would they be earning?
Oh, somewhere between $125,000 and $175,000.
That's
total.
right. Yep. So let's say $150,000.
Yep.
So with $150,000, they need to save $15,000.
$15,000 a year minimum.
Yeah, that's minimum.
Yeah, and then when the kids get out of school, out of college, and then you want to start stepping that back up to 15, 20, 25% to do a little catch up to get you a little cushion in retirement.
Yeah, and the college cost is a huge issue right now, because that's probably not going to get their kids to college.
A lot of these people in their 30s with 2 kids are buying BMWs and
they sure are.
Prada Gucci handbags, and they're buying, they're buying the style and the look.
That's right.
They're not putting away 15%.
No. The biggest difference that we've seen, and I think most financial advisors see when they work with a lot of people over the years, is it really does come down to what you just said. People who do a good job of saving are able to delay their gratification. The people who don't do a good job saving are people who aren't able to delay their gratification. They're leasing the BMW.
They're living the lifestyle, and they have this big, beautiful home, and they can't afford to furnish it.
Their credit cards are maxed out, and it's really psychologically, it becomes down to the ability to delay gratification and not delay gratification.
So I would like to ask people, if you want to call 303-MARTINO, what are you doing for retirement? I want to know. I want to know people in their 30s and 40s. Even your 50s, what are you doing for retirement? Please, give us some hints. Or if you want to admit you're not doing anything. I don't know. I'm asking. 303-MARTINO. That number I'm going to leave open. Suzanne, that number open. Just for this. See if we get any calls. I'd like your ideas. If you're in your 30s or 40s, what are you doing? What are you doing? How much do you make? Do you have a hope? Do you have a dream? 303-MARTINO. 303-627-8466. Now, let's keep going. John's wife disappeared with money. The only thing I can tell you, John, is this, okay? Your wife disappeared with your money and with all your documents. You need to track her down. And in order to do that, you need to have some hints and some clues. And I don't know any other way to do it than legwork. There is no magic that we have. We do have private detectives. ICS of Colorado, they're really good people, and they can track down people. If you have her date of birth and you have her social, you have her, all of that stuff, they can probably get hits on where she is from time to time. But it's not a quick thing. And if she stole anything, you might want to go to the police. But it sounds more like a civil matter. So they came to the door with pepper spray when you looked for your wife, and what did they say?
They were quite afraid of me.
And did you say there's nothing to be afraid of? I mean, so your wife is kind of saying that you hurt her?
Yes, I believe so. And like I said, I believe that she has done this before in order to receive immigration.
Where is she from?
India. We went to high school together, and we reconnected about 4 years ago. She told me she was in this abusive relationship and all that, and we talked a little bit, and then she came into my life, and she actually infused quite a bit of money into my bank account.
Okay. How much?
About $20,000.
From where?
We hired a divorce lawyer. She said it was hers. She said she, brought it in.
And what do you mean? She hired a divorce attorney?
Correct. We hired a divorce attorney for her, and
to get her out of her abusive relationship. And what happened then?
Precisely. And we ended up paying about $20,000 out of the divorce.
Yeah, that was probably a scam.
Yeah.
The whole thing was probably a scam. You're being put together, and now she got another 30 grand from you. You're probably not going to find her. Were the people that came to the door, were they Indian as well?
I know them both. One is Indian, the other is her boyfriend, and I talked him down. We're both Eagle Scouts. I said, hey man, you know me, but at the same time, I don't necessarily want to get them all involved in this business. I just think.
Well, you have to be, listen, John, I'm going to tell you something right now. You better do it immediately. You got to file for divorce immediately, and that will put it.
Done that?
Good. That puts a stay on all the financial stuff, and then if she does anything, she's going to have to make up for it. So what you need to do is have her served. Was she served?
I've got 2 servers looking for her.
That's all you can do.
I think is, all right. Should I find PI at this time?
You know what's weird is he said that she came into that relationship with 20 grand.
I know.
Well, I mean, technically that's probably hers because that was before the relationship.
Well, she put it in my bank account as a gift.
Yeah, but technically...
And she ran off with probably, as I said, 30, but also hadn't been paying the credit cards. So the damage is even more than that. She also took a loan out in my name, but she ended up.
Did you sign it?
Back.
Oh well, she paid it back.
No,
all I care about is outstanding right now. If you took all the money in and all the money out, John, it's going to be not all of that 30 is yours. Okay. It isn't.
I understand that.
So she might have a differential. She may have a small differential to pay you and some paperwork. And what you need to do is go through the divorce route. Do you hire ICS of Colorado? I don't know. Give them a call. Give us the number, Suzanne. I can't look it up right now. And let's see if they, you call them and ask them, hey, is it too early to call you? I need to serve her. We can't find her. Because they'll stake out a place, but you got to pay for it, John. I don't know what you guys do. Huh?
I don't mind.
Okay, well, then you got to do it. We'll get him the number for ICS of Colorado. They're private eyes. They're good. Bob's got a comment on the phone calls people have been talking about. They get a phone call from a strange number. They pick it up, and then from that point forward, it shows that their phone has been making calls that they haven't made. Go ahead, Bob.
Hi there.
Hey.
Mine is a little bit different situation. I'm not sure if it's exactly what you're looking for then. What we get is phone calls, and the ID caller is spoofed. They put out their own phone number. It says it's area code for Denver, for either of the two numbers we have here, and the numbers are out of state or out of off.
I understand. Yeah, it's a caller ID spoof. Yes.
So I'm not sure that's what you're looking for.
No, I mean, that's just one of them. It is not necessarily a scam. Most solicitors do that, Bob, so that's not the same. What we're talking about is where you actually get a call and then they take control somehow of your phone or your SIM card or something. Barb's got a comment on savings and college. Go ahead, Barb.
Yeah, I just had a downside that I never realized that I would face. My husband, I'm 53. My husband and I lived pretty frugally, but comfortably waited to have kids. And now that we have a 18-year-old going off to New York to go to college, we, compared to my sister, looked too good as far as for getting financial aid or when we filled out the FAFSA.
It actually, you're in between where you don't have enough to pay for it, but you're too good to get financial grants.
Right. My sister, who takes trips and lives in debt, her kids get so much financial aid and just help. And
Champion's exclusive Comfort 365 glass and Champion's limited lifetime warranty covers the frame, glass, hardware, and even installation. That's why I endorse Champion. Right now, get $250 off every Champion window and pay no interest or payments till 2019. Hot summer temperatures and high energy bills are right around the corner. Don't miss Champion's Summer of Savings going on now. Schedule today for your free in-home estimate at getchampion.com. That's getchampion.com.
Are you ready? The iHeartRadio Music Festival Capital One cardholder presale is on. Cardholders get access to tickets right now. Tickets on sale to the general public this Friday at 11 a.m. Go to iHeartRadio.
Tomorrow morning at 7. A big announcement at 7 from number 7, John Elway. Hear it on AM 760.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. Welcome. Okay, Sean says he knows how to stop the phone scams. Go ahead. What's going on, Sean?
Hey, Tom, if you're a Verizon customer, all you do is dial *611 and talk to a customer service guy there and tell him you don't want no more internet-based phone calls, and it'll stop it immediately.
No, it won't. How would that happen ever?
They just stop. You can't receive no calls that are through the internet, and that's what them spoof calls are. Through the internet.
I see what you're saying. Are you sure of that?
I'm positive of it. And
but wait a minute. There are a lot of IP-based phone systems. Would that be cutting out all of those?
Yeah, you wouldn't get no more Amber Alerts or nothing like that. Or if the school calls, you wouldn't get no messages like that over it. So that's the only fact.
Yeah, that might limit you severely, but I appreciate the comment, Sean. Let's talk to Milan. Milan, what's going on with you? Hello, Milan.
Hello. How are you doing today?
Good. What's happening?
I purchased a truck from a Copart auction, online auction on February 2nd this year. And it's a Ram truck 2013, and I paid $22,000 for that truck.
You paid $22,000, and what's the problem?
When I purchased a truck online from a Copart yard located in Georgia, and a couple of weeks after that I received a truck here in Colorado with a title, and on the title...
Oh, I get it. Hold on. You sent an email, didn't you? Okay, yes, hold on. I just looked at this. They basically, and this happened to me when I bought a car out of state, they can't get the title right, and I will, in their defense, okay, I will say that it may or may not be their problem, because I had title problems. Our state motor vehicle department will do everything they can to screw you up when you go there. They don't look, how can we help this person? They go through the paperwork to see where they can screw you up, because they don't want you to leave happy. They want to find something wrong every time you visit. And I've had this experience. I had to go back 6 times to get my title finally, and they tried to blame the dealer in California. So here's what I want to ask you, okay? So this dealer in Georgia, have they been trying to help you?
Yes, they tried to help me to some point, and after that they stopped responding on my...
yeah, because they probably don't know what to do. Email. What exactly is wrong with your title work?
And I went to Colorado Department of Revenue, Division of Motor Vehicle, and they looked the title and also checked and said that this vehicle cannot be titled in Colorado because it's junk brand.
Oh, it's junk?
Yes, I purchased a salvage vehicle.
No, you're allowed to do that. They just don't drop the salvage. I don't know why they're telling you that. Wait a minute. Did it have a regular title with an S on it when you bought it, or was it rebuilt from salvage and they hadn't titled it yet?
No, it's just a salvage title.
Okay, but it is a title though, right? You see, Milan, let me explain this to you. If they built that from a wreck, you knew they did it, right?
Yes.
You bought it on purpose to save money, right?
Yes.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with buying a salvage vehicle on purpose to save money, okay? Now, yes. If they rebuilt it from salvage and did not go through the title process in Georgia, then you can't...
No, they didn't do that.
Okay, if they did not go through the title process in their state, you can't bring it here and get it titled. You would have to have them go through the title process in the state they built it, have the state police has to inspect it, and they issue a VIN number or they approve the car, and then you can get it transferred to Colorado. I don't know if you can go straight from salvage to a title in Colorado. We need to ask Bob, the car guy, if he...
I know that.
We need to find out. So they told you there's no way to do it, right?
Yeah, they told me there's no way to do it, and also I get the stamp and certified document saying it's not possible that you get this vehicle registered on your name here in Colorado.
They say it's not possible.
Yes, they said it's not possible.
Well, I got bad news for you, Milan. I got really bad news for you. And that is, unless this dealer misled you in some way, they don't have to undo the deal. Do you agree, Mark? They did not mislead this guy at all. They sold him a salvage car out in the open.
If it's salvage, it's salvage.
But he bought it knowing that, and now he can't get it titled here. It's not their fault.
No, it's salvaged.
Yeah, I mean...
But it's not salvage, it's junk. That's big difference. It's not salvage, they fraud me. And
how did they... Wait, how did they defraud you?
And also when I started...
How did they defraud you?
Because they told me that the title is salvage. They also showed me the pictures of the car, and it's a beautiful car. And also they provide the price. It's approximately value of $40,000. and I rely on that, and I just
no. Listen. There's no difference.
Also I have a phone call from them.
Milan, if you want me to help you, you have to listen. I want to help you. I let you talk. You're saying they defrauded you. Okay, here's what I need. How did they defraud you? How?
They represented the wrong information about the vehicle.
Okay, what did they misrepresent? This is what I'm trying to get at. They told you it was salvaged. They told you they built it from junk. That's what salvage means.
No. They told me that it's salvage title. And junk title is completely different story about the salvage. If the vehicle is junk, you cannot register in your name. It's junk. It's no way to register, no way to get a plate for the vehicle. And now I'm stuck with the vehicle. And also, I cannot sell vehicle to anybody because I cannot transfer.
Did he send the paperwork with his email, Suzanne? Okay, hold on. We need to find somebody, Suzanne, I really, because he is saying things I'm not familiar with. He's talking about junk and salvage in two different ways. He's saying that it wasn't a salvage vehicle, it was a junk vehicle. So you're saying, Milan, it wasn't allowed to be rebuilt? I've never heard of this. Now, we either need to call someone in Georgia, and we may have to postpone this. I can't guess. Or we have to call someone in Colorado. But as far as I know, I thought you could rebuild any car as long as it's inspected and VIN numbered.
Tom, you know, according to Milan's email at the end, it says Copart didn't correct the title per instructions. After multiple attempts to solve this case in peace, we've offered Copart to take the truck back. It sounds to me like the DMV is just saying they need to fix the paperwork, but Milan is saying he wants his money back.
Well, he may not be entitled to his money if they disclosed everything on the sale. So I need to see all of the documentation from when he bought the car. Milan, please don't be confused. We're trying to help you, but you need to help us. We need to have all of the paperwork from that sale, okay? All of it. And then we need to talk to some experts because I am totally baffled as to why he can't get it titled. I want to see Motor Vehicle gave him a list. It's called a deficiency list of what he needed to bring. And I don't bring back. And I don't know where it is. But we need all of that paperwork. That's what we need. Right now, speaking of cars, let's talk to Al Aramis at Pro Auto Care. Al, what's happening?
Well, you know, I listened to your call and everything right there, and so...
And you're going to do this... I might just preface this. Is there a limit? Because if there is, I'm going to tell people to stay by for the number.
Okay.
Is there a limit?
No, I'm going to take care of people. You know, this is just... When we do stuff on Martino, we want to bring people and give them a chance to check us out, see our store.
So I want everyone to listen carefully because this is not limited, and you can get this deal at 303 Pro Auto. That's the phone number. Tell us what that deal is.
Well, we're going to go through and we'll do the typical maintenance that you need, which is your oil change. Synthetic blend Kendall with titanium. It's a fabulous oil. Premium filter. We're going to go through and rotate your tires, set your pressures, fill your fluid, check your charging system and battery, check the car over and do a full inspection. $19.95. It's a smoking deal. Try to do this on your own. Rotate tires, pick it, put it on a jack. You're not going to want to do it. You're not going to enjoy it. We'll do it for you and earn your business.
That is $19.95. 2 locations near Evans and I-25 and near Bowles and Santa Fe. And I have to tell you that you won't find a better shop when it comes to not just quality and experience, but honesty. Pro Auto Care, 303 Pro Auto.
This report is brought to you by Life. The highway drive is slow downtown, but it is a little bit better.
You know, you could, all this software is under $85, and it works on apparently about 80% of SIM cards. Well, basically, you download the software, you pop your SIM out of your phone, you pop it in, it breaks the algorithm, and you put in a blank that you bought, and you write to the blank, and now you have 2 identical SIM cards. Then you pop one in one phone, one in the other. I'd just be curious to see if this shit actually works. I would try it for educational purposes.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, I think it would be kind of cool. We find a rip-off guy. Somehow we get his phone and clone it. We see everybody's ripping off like Jay Lopez. I don't know what kind of laws we're breaking though. It sounds.
You lost your desire, your libido. What the heck is going on? Well, you know, when you're hungry, you eat. And when your body starts depleting hormones, you should replenish and optimize them. It is what we were given in birth. And it's what happens over time. We deplete these hormones and we have to replenish them. So here's the deal. BioT has been amazing. They have a natural delivery system that is cardio activated that lasts anywhere from 4 to 6 months with one treatment. So you're not always putting on creams and taking shots or supplements. It is a wonderful system, and it gives the hormones you need over a period of time. You have to check out BioT to really maximize your life, and you will love it. I know I do. What you need to do is just go to the website and find a provider. Why would you not do this? biotmedical.com. Don't you want the most out of life? biotmedical.com. And then you just go find a provider, boom, and you're there.
How do you make sure you get the lowest rates for either a refinance or purchase, or getting the right loan for you and not the one they want to sell you?
Hey, Chris, Mark Major, how are you?
Accepted on your dream home. Purchases with only 1% down and no mortgage insurance. Again, 720-950-500. Get cash out for that home improvement without having to restart your term. Home with the Asset Manager Mortgage, where you can pay off your home in half the time without changing one penny of your spending habits. Call 720-895-0500 to find out how. Take aim. CFPB stated that the consumer has spent over $13 billion in fees on their mortgage that they may have saved had they shopped. Call us now and start saving. Affordable interest mortgage. 720-895-0500. And MLS 298191, regulated by DORA, equal credit lender. Take aim.
Your place for Fox News Radio is 630 K-House, Denver's talk station.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK. 303-713-8255. Welcome to the show. Gerald has a comment on savings. We have APO Financial here. What is your comment, basically, on savings?
Well, my basic comment is, I guess I learned from my grandparents, and it's buried in the mayonnaise jar in the backyard. I just keep it in cash.
Come on, really? How much?
If I had to take a guess, it's not buried, but yeah, I probably have about 10 grand in cash in my house.
I don't know. I think that's the worst idea in the world. Because you can never, because cash loses money.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. But why cash?
I don't know. I don't think there's anything.
I don't think there's anything wrong with 10. I don't. I wouldn't do any more than that because it's literally not going to do you any good. But I agree with you on about 10 grand. I wouldn't put it in the ground.
That would cover most bail bonds.
Well, and then that also could be used as emergency savings as well. But just when you're having cash at home, make sure it's in a fireproof safe. So if that way, if there's a fire or something like that, then at least it's not going to be destroyed.
And don't forget, most insurance companies barely handle a very small amount of cash in a fire.
You're not going to get that much recovery.
Well, it's also in the same safe where I have to have my fingerprints to open it up to, get the gun out and stuff like that. I'm not terribly worried about that, but when you were making your comment, I go, yes, I have savings. I have investments. I do everything that I'm supposed to be doing, I guess, according to everyone else. But I do have that much cash there available, in case crap hits the fan.
Well, I don't know. Guys, how do you feel as retirement managers about people having cash? Literally cash in their mattress or in their drawer or in their safe. Well, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with 10 grand, but I certainly wouldn't keep any more. What do you think?
Oh, well, number one, it's dangerous. You're setting yourself up for if somebody finds out about that.
Sure.
The biggest issue, though, from a financial perspective, is inflation.
Yeah, if you have a lot of cash and it's just not going to keep up with inflation, but what Gerald's talking about here is that he's got at least $10,000 sitting at home, but he's also got other investments, retirement, things along those lines. But yeah, if you have too much cash, that inflation will eat you alive, and we see it time and time again when people say, well, I'm just in cash, I'll get 0% return, my plan will work, but the problem is that they don't look at their spending accounting for inflated dollars.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's the worst problem. And then the inflation rates are different on the different things in your life, especially as you get older. Your healthcare inflation rate gets worse. Yep. Because you're going to get sick, you're going to get ill. I mean, that's just the natural transition of us getting older. Yeah, but I mean, like talking about like you, 10,000 cash, that's no big deal. But there are people that literally do what we call coffee can save.
That's what I mean. That's what he's talking about.
And that is ultimately. You would be better off. There are lots of other ways to at least keep up with inflation that are safe, that are a lot better than cash. Inflation is the killer. And it's the killer to all retirement.
It is. Okay, so Gerald, you have a comment, or is this no? Gerald, you there?
Yeah.
Are you the one I just took?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, Gerald. I don't really have anything more to say. I mean, do you have anything more to say? I mean, I think 10 grand. I think 10 grand is okay, but don't keep it underground, for God's sakes.
Unless you have a map of where it's at.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't do that.
You have all Alzheimer's, you can't remember.
What's going on with Stephanie?
Yes.
What's happening?
I called Friday for my Tahoe. I'm sorry, I'm backing up. I called Friday about my Tahoe, and Brian, from Lakewood Auto Electric was there, and he kind of did an audio diagnosis, and we brought it in, and he took care of it. He did a great job.
That is great. What did he find?
It appears as if we had some rodent problems that were old, and they finally just deteriorated to the point where they were touching wires. So
what were the symptoms? Maybe other people might be benefited by this. What were the symptoms?
I had a ton of symptoms, and the biggest one...
They were all inconsistent and basically haphazard, right?
Yeah, there was nothing that was really linking anything together. So my interior lights, my auxiliary, those were gone. My auto lights were gone. My security light kept flashing. My key.
That's right. And Rolly Purifoy suspected grounds. And by the way, a lot of times with rodents, it is a ground because they actually chew the grounds. But it could have been anything. I'm glad that you went to Lakewood Auto Electric. And thank you, Stephanie, for telling us, because I'll tell you why. We preach about people, the good ones. And we advocate for them. And we endorse them on referralist.com. But we don't always hear the results. And we love hearing it, because we don't know how many people are having great results. We assume most of them because we don't get complaints, that many. So thank you. Nick, you have a comment on that Verizon thing. Mark, by the way, do you think it's just spoofing? Because I think it's more than that if it's showing up on
No, I'm reading quite a bit of stuff. For
Is it about cloning now?
It sounds like for about $85 you can start copying a good percentage of these cards.
Wow. Yeah, how do you, wait, to copy them, though, do you have to have the card?
Yeah, you basically pull out the little SIM card, you put it in a reader-writer.
But how would somebody do that, whether it's,
Well, they'd have to get, I mean, if it was a husband or wife or a kid, I would assume you'd have access to it. I mean, I don't know.
But these people say it happened after a phone call.
That I have no idea. I don't think that's cloning. It's got to be some form of internet calling through that phone number, like that other guy was saying. I bet if they turned off the internet calling, it wouldn't happen. But in order to clone it, everything I'm reading says you have to have that card and the right equipment.
So, Nick, what's your comment?
Yeah, I had that similar issue. I just don't answer phone calls. I get a lot of phone calls during the day. And if I don't answer or I don't know the number, I just let it go to message. If they don't leave a message, I even say on there, if I don't know your number, I'm not going to call you back. And I get numbers that are very similar to my number. My area code and prefix is 303-594. And then
do they show up? Do they show up on your history that you made phone calls?
No, they haven't showed up on my history.
So that one guy, I'm wondering, Mark, that's the only guy. We only had one guy actually say it showed up on his history. Only one guy. Everyone else said it just shows up as a spoof thing. But so that would not be a true cloning. So the only thing happening with you is they're spoof calls, right?
Yeah, I think that it's either when you answer your phone, because at the beginning I would answer, and if they didn't say hello within the first 2 seconds, I'd hang up. So, and then once I just started recognizing these numbers, I just started adding it to a block list on my phone, and then these numbers just start getting blocked.
Okay.
So, and that was my remedy to it.
Okay. Now, I know I understand. Same. Yeah, I understand. There are you can set it so you only take calls from your contacts too. So that's So what about this other problem you're having?
So Vivint, coming up on a year, August 8th. I had a Vivint salesman come to my house, door-to-door salesman, offering me this smart home, this and that, giving all the bells and whistles and laying out the prices. And I, went through the whole bargaining process and stuff. But he had specifically said, with my wife as a witness, we had 30 days to try this system out. If I didn't like it, we could return it, no cost,
And who was it? Who was it?
Vivint.
I never heard of him. I never heard of them.
Well, Tom, we got a call on the show about them while you were out one day.
And what was it?
So what happened is this gal called because a door-to-door sales guy selling these security systems came to her house, and then when she told him to get away, get off my property, he started spreading rumors to other neighbors about her. And so
that's crazy. That sounds like...
We had Daphne looking into it.
I thought the woman was insane.
Kinda.
Up until we had other callers send us articles
about this
this company.
They settled with the state of Wyoming for
they
bad
went after
practices. Then DAF found some stuff in
California.
California.
Oh, really? So they're harassing. So, Nick, what happened with you then? They're not taking it back, or what? Did you sign a contract?
Well, I signed a contract, but this is what I signed up for the product. I thought I had 30 days to try it out. After 20 days, I called them up, say, hey, look, this system isn't really for me. I live in a rural area, so it's not like I really need a security system. I thought it was just some of the stuff that they had on there would be interesting. But anyway, I didn't like it, so I wanted to return it, said I don't want it. And they said, well, you only had 3 days to test it out. I said, 3 days? How can you test anything out and know if you want it in 3 days? Without, well, that's what you had signed up for. So I thought and I probably am bound to this contract, but since then I've had problems with their product, faulty door locks.
Well, hold on. How long have you had it now?
Since August 8th of last year.
Well, well, you can't say it's a trial now. I mean, you accepted it, basically. Yeah. You accepted it. There's not much you can do about it now. How long is the contract?
Oh, it's for 3.5 years. I was just calling to see if there's any way, any bad practice. I don't know if there's any direction you can send me, because...
Well, you should have gotten out in the beginning. I could have helped you. Right now, you've accepted it. And basically, if it was me and I didn't like these guys, I would disconnect it, stop paying them, and have them come after me, because that's how I do battle. If I think someone misled me or they're not doing a good job, they're not going to take any more money from me. And then get ready for a fight and just tell them
That's kind of the lines that I'm looking at doing.
Well, you can do that, and that's what I would do. That's what I would do. By the way, Mark Trenner Law is the guy you need to call if you have an invention, a trademark, you want to protect some intellectual property that comes by way of either a trademark or a copyright, even for software, or anything that you think might be protectable. He'll answer your questions, he'll do searches, and he is a guy that is local, and it's not one of these 1-800 ripoffs. Please, when you have an invention or a trademark or a copyright or anything, and you need help, Trenner Law, Mark Trenner, 720-221-3708. That's 720-221-3708. Look for Trenner Law on my referral list at referralist.com. And that's where you will also find Rocky's Autos, 63rd and Federal. Rocky's. Everything is done before you leave. Rocky's, 63rd and Federal, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 8. That is 303-426-4646.
This report is brought to you by Lifeline. A couple of slow spots to watch out for when you drive across town. Let's go to I-76. A little bit of construction delay on westbound I-76 up around 104th, so watch out for delays on that stretch. Also in the metro area, downtown, northbound I-25, stop and go on the approach to Colfax, back up to Alameda in their typical spot. Westbound I-70, slow on the approach to Vasquez. Same can be said for westbound I-2.
Sarah and 30.
scattered afternoon thunderstorms throughout the metro area today with a high of 80 tonight. Thunderstorms continue in the overnight hours. The low 62 right now, mostly cloudy, and 74 in Denver. With your traffic and weather, I'm Pete Wagner.
15.
With identity theft, what you can't see can hurt you. The LifeLock can actually see threats to your identity. Stuff you can miss by just monitoring it. If something happens, U.S. Verify or to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code RISK. Save 10%.
If you are looking for an attorney to help you out of a jam, that's Joseph A. Lazzara. You know, over the last few days, we've actually had calls where people could use Joseph Lazzara. Now, listen, being accused of a crime doesn't mean you did it. But even if you did, it doesn't matter. You need help getting through the system one way or the other. You know, sometimes people are they just make mistakes. Other times, then, they are falsely accused. And that goes for DUIs as well. Not all DUI tickets are convictions, but a good number of them are. If you need help with a DUI ticket, don't even try to do it alone. Call Joseph A. Lazzara, 303-429-6200, 429-6200. Joe Lazzara is on my referral list at referralist.com. One thing I want to tell you, though, there is no reason at all for the marijuana tickets, the drug tickets, the alcohol tickets and driving, because with Uber, with Lyft, with taxis, or designated drivers, you never even have to worry about it. 303-429-6200.
Attention business owners. Are you struggling while waiting for your customers to pay on their net 30s, 60s, or 90s? Can't get a business loan because you have no equity, bad credit, or no credit at all? Then you need to call AmeriFactors. Get cash right now for your invoices instead of getting turned down by the banks or taking out a high-interest business loan. There's nothing to pay back. We simply buy your accounts receivable, and if those clients don't pay on those invoices, we take the loss. You've already been paid. We don't give you funds based on your credit. We give you funds based on your accounts receivable. Go buy that new equipment, hire those new employees, or use the working funds to bid on jobs you never thought you could go after. With AmeriFactors, there is no more waiting for your customers to pay. We give you the working funds while we wait for the net 30s, 60s, and 90s. Find your business today with AmeriFactors by calling 800-510-9306. That's 800-510-9306. Or text Factor to 41411. That's Factor to 41411. And simply click the link to call and get funds within 48 hours.
Are you having a barbecue or going to one? If you're gluten-free or have gluten-free friends, don't limit yourself to just eating the burger or the dog without fun. Let gluten-free things put the fun back in the fun without the worry of gluten. Freshly baked bread, buns, and
Nothing is more important. Hi, I'm Johnny, owner of the Fitness Gallery, where we sell the world's finest fitness equipment. Now, through the end of July, save up to 40% off all floor models. 675. Top-rated treadmills for under $25. I think it's a 15 times 5 quarters. Carries a lifetime warranty on all parts. In Denver on 58th Ave and I-25 for Highlands Ranch at University of the C47. FitnessGallery.com. Fitness Gallery, getting on and chips since 1997.
Sean Kennedy, Face the Truth, today at 1. Republicans in Washington that broke your promises. This is the net result of it.
On Denver's talk station. 630 KL.
Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome, 303-713-TALK. Frank Duran, the real estate man. If you're looking to sell real estate, list your home. You will find no one better. No long-term contracts. He wants you to be happy. And if you're not, he's not going to hold you to it. And no one ever gets out because they love Frank. And if you're looking for a home, the same thing. He has teams dedicated to both. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com, 303-920-1622. Just remember that name, Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. Okay, so Nick has... no, we're done with that. Okay, guys, our closing remarks here. Let's talk about this tax efficiency. You put a real deal on that. So, not just planning for retirement, but tax efficiency in retirement. What does that mean?
Yeah, really what it means is that, for most people who don't realize that when you look within the tax code, there's typically about 100 opportunities within there. For most people, it's about a half a dozen or so. But when you start looking at things, taxes are typically voluntary. If you know how to use the tax code to your advantage, you can actually minimize the amount of taxes that you're paying in retirement. And ultimately, whether you sell a business, whether you're selling real estate, maybe you have rental properties you want to unwind, but you can use that.
Do you have to start planning from your early days to get the tax efficiency, or can you do it when they're ready to retire?
You can actually do that when they're ready to retire,
or before, or even when they're in retirement. Yep. Because I mean, I don't know about you, but most people I know of believe taxes are going to go up in the rest of our lifetime.
Right.
And so, if taxes are going to go up, right now is the best time to do tax planning. Not later, now.
Okay.
And there are many ways that most people have no idea.
Really? There truly are things that common people don't know, for saving taxes.
Saving taxes and how to become tax efficient.
Can you give me one thing most people don't know about saving taxes? Just one.
Sure. The one thing most people don't know is when they're in retirement, if they make too much money, their Social Security is going to be taxable.
Really?
Just right there, if you just...
So normally Social Security not taxable.
Unless you make too much money.
And then not only... Wow. Mark, did you know that that Social Security becomes taxable?
Yeah, of course. It's income.
No. But it's not taxable unless you make too much money.
That's right. There are thresholds.
Just like regular income, though, right?
Not like regular income. The thresholds are like if you're a married couple, if you make less than $32,000...
Including Social
Security? No, excluding Social Security.
Oh, okay.
Then you're going to be okay.
You have tax-free Social Security.
That's right. Yeah. But once you get over those levels, 50% of it, there's one level that 50% of it.
So wait a minute. So that bull crap. Hold on, guys. Yep. So that bull crap about you can make all you want when you're over 66. And not affect Social Security is not true.
That is not true.
Well, so I didn't know that, Mark. I was told I can make anything I want at 66 and still get Social Security.
You can get your Social Security, but
it'll be taxed.
So what's the maximum taxable amount? What if a guy makes $1 million?
85% of your Social Security can be taxed at whatever your rate is.
So you could end up paying 50% of your Social Security back if you make too much money.
If you make too much money.
And it also
so that is bull, because that is one thing I learned today, because I was told you make as much as you want after 66, full retirement age, and you will not be penalized. But you are.
Well, your amount of Social Security that you're going to receive won't be penalized.
No, of course, but in essence you are penalized because you're paying it in taxes.
Oh, absolutely. It's a double tax in our world, because think about it.
You already pay tax going in.
And you're paying it coming out.
And if you make a lot of money, your Medicare premiums.
I wonder how many people know that. I wonder, seriously, I never knew that. Okay, now as far as self-directed retirement accounts for people that don't have a lot of money, when they do self-direction, what's the safer things to do for these people that are listening, that have their own retirement accounts, but they don't want to go to a retirement manager yet? They don't have enough money. What are some safe? What are pools, mutual funds? What?
Well, mutual funds aren't safe. Because mutual funds are in the stock market if they're equity funds.
But for people that don't have a lot of savvy, where would they put it?
Well,
a lot of it really depends on their investment horizon, what their risk tolerance
30 years.
is.
They have 30 years.
They have 30 years. They could take a little more risk, and for that matter, you can invest in low cost indexed funds. Whether
that's what I would do if I was starting out.
Yeah.
I would just go to low cost index funds.
Yep.
SP 500, Dow, and NASDAQ.
Just funds.
Just because the lowest cost. In our opinion, that's better than doing
Mark,
mutual funds.
What would you do if you weren't day trading and you were just had a qualified plan that you could self-direct?
What would stock market? Technology.
Like they were talking about.
Yeah, over a period of time, I mean, let's face it, stocks go up, at least, 90% of them.
Yeah, but just be smart that when things get bad, you might want to think about getting out for a while.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're out of time. By the way, APO Financial, when they're not here, 720-588-2000. 720-588-2000. And, of course, they're also on my referral list, referralist.com.
Nothing is more important than your health. Hi, I'm Donnie.
I emailed you back on that. I quoted him.
I am so confused, Mark.
Hold on with you.
I'm confused.
I quoted him the I quoted him the wholesale rate legitimately.
Yeah.
And I just passed it through because he already pays me on digital.
I know that, and he pays me. I'm not looking at making money.
no one's going to knock his head off.
I'm more concerned about the process. He has to stop. He talks to too many people. That's my thing, is we got to be focused. I think we ought to just